Welcome to Out There channel. What's that dimmed? Welcome to the Out There channel. Live stream 105. I think it sometimes clips my intro off. I will just cue some music, make sure everything's working. Got a few technical problems again. Looks like Windows corrupted some settings. So, what have we got going here? So, I think it worked. Hello, good to be back again. Despite all the stress, all the problems with computer problems on top of problems. I need to get rid of the echo because it's putting me off. So, yeah, good to be back. So it looks like I'm solo at the moment. I think everybody's sleeping. So just me and whoever wants to join me. I was going to make it free for all. Earl from MUFON may join us later. Let's see, it must be 10 p.m. now, so not too sure what time he's staying up to in California. So we've got 0 people watching. So should be Saturday night. Must be some night owls about, surely. It'll be early morning UK though. So what's the time around the world? Let's have a quick look. I've actually got a bit of a headache, which doesn't help as well. Where's my date time? World clock. So it's 1:30 a.m. in New York. London, 6:30 in the morning. So I don't blame Rob not joining us because he was talking to me at 4 in the morning. So he'll be gone for the rest of the night. Dear, I'd be saying. But yeah, it should be some people from USA around. Let's see. New Zealand should be here. Some people from early morning over there in Turkey. Lunchtime. Emirates. California. That can't be right. It's on the wrong side. Alright, here we go. Yep, 10:30. Florida, 1 a.m. So, what's that, about 3 hours difference from one side of America to the other. Just shows how big it is. Texas, just past midnight there. So, yeah. So it looks like it's just me. I haven't really got any topics planned. So last time we talked about green fireballs. And I said, for alien craft, why would they be on fire? Why would they be spitting out green? It doesn't make any sense. And one of the theories was that it was meteorites. And green color, produced by gas being ionized. Here's a chart here. So turns out it's colors and altitude. So it talks about the aurora, what the colors, often it's green, but you see reds and yellows. Aurora is made of blue, green, and red light. But these green fireballs are coming down low down above the cities and flying level, then going back up, they're saying. But yeah, I read there that one of them crashed and they found copper. It was a chemical which also, if it's burning, creates a green sparkle effect. But also there's other ways to get color. That's from ionized gas like neon lights, which is simulate the aurora. And oxygen burns green and blue. So I haven't typed my welcome message, but I better do that. Nice, you're on your own. You're on, you mean? Yeah, I'm on my own too. People have let me down again. So, welcome. Better type my side welcome message. So yeah, it's been a bit of a rush because I had some technical problems again with the computer. It's a piece of crap, really, but quick fix, lucky enough for my computer expert with 2 degrees in IT, so I can quickly fix things. So this is 105 already. So with the average live stream being 3 to 4 hours, so that's quite a few hours there in live streams now. Probably about 500 hours, which is kind of strange because Google takes away your ads years ago. Said now you got to make 4,000 hours watch time. So that's easy made up. If 10 people just watched all my live streams from the beginning to the end, that target would easily be met. But yeah, if people are not on the live stream, they tend not to watch them because they reckon they haven't got time to watch them. So it's that catch-22. Either you're interested in the UFO topic or you're not. So yeah, what do you do? So yeah, A51. I suppose that stands for Area 51. Area 51 Studios, is it? You're the one that said that we're jealous because we attack security, which is not the case at all. We run our streams regardless of what other people are up to. And we just want to get the truth out there, that's all. And just have fun doing it, you know. So, yeah, we don't spend too much time on big channels unless it's viral videos where incorrect information is being spread. Like moon bases and glass domes as one example, which we've covered a couple of streams back. Someone's beeping me on Hangouts. Who is there? Then is it? Hang on. Yeah, so El from MUFON might join us tonight and talk about some cases. So it's late California at the moment, but the wife wants to watch a movie apparently, else he would be joining us. But we're just trying to get him onto Discord, which is our new chat server, because Hangouts at the end of the year will be charging per month charge to use it. It won't be free anymore. But I think all these chat programs will end up charging at some point. But they should find some other ways for it to be paid. Maybe a ad that pops up when you first start it, which would be quite reasonable. But yeah, I don't know. So A51, if you want to join on Discord chat, you have to find the link in the About tab. Hey, Renee, how's it going? Yeah, so Renee, is this the real Renee? Because there's been a lot of troll counts being made where they've been assuming identities lately. And apparently, we've got two Renees in our accounts. One that's got a slightly different icon to the one that's currently shown. So somehow you need to prove that you're the same one. I don't know how. Maybe you could prove it to Vern, and then he can tell us that you're legit or something. I don't know. Why wouldn't we be jealous of Secure Team? Because I see him taking money from fraudulently. So the money is nothing to the UFO channel itself. We do this even without money. I'm running at a negative $1,000 debt. What we can't understand is why so many people like him, because surely they should be suspicious of all the stuff he's putting up is not adding up. So either people are really gullible nowadays or not critical thinking. It's not making any sense whatsoever. Now, if someone puts up a balloon video, which he has done quite a lot of times, and claims it to be a UFO, that's just misleading people. That sun balloon, you know, a year or so ago, you could see it was a balloon, a sun balloon on the site. So, yeah, I don't know why people wouldn't see that and say, hang on, Tyler, you got to be kidding us, and claiming it to be a critter, alien critter floating around the sky. So yeah, I was just gonna go back to this fireball one. So Renee, it's me. I forgot my password and cell phone number. How can you forget those two things? Well, I must admit I don't know my cell phone number. I've got it written down everywhere though. You always got to write down things just in case the technology fails. But yeah, that's the problem with smartphones and computers. In the past, we had to sort of memorize all our phone numbers and street addresses and birthdays, and I don't even know any of those myself. I'm just hopeless with dates. I probably memorized my landline though. That one always stays the same, and it's smaller number with repeating digits, so it's easier to remember. But yeah. So we talked about these green fireballs that happened between 1947 and 1952 mostly. And the expert there thought they were meteorites until he saw them with his own eyes one day. So I'm not sure what changed his mind, but he said maybe he said they were moving around erratically. But still, that can happen with a meteorite or some type of meteorite, a rare meteorite that's made up of the right chemicals to make a green, sparkly outer. And if you can imagine little pockets of gases in it as it sort of heats up and breaks the surface, and as it's burning off the chemicals, it could put little jets, jets of gas under pressure out sideways, which is going to give it like a thrust and move it either upwards, sideways, or whatever. So it may look like it's under intelligent control when in fact it's just random bursts of gas being released. So yeah, we tried to find out what we could there. I'm not sure. It didn't make it too clear what happened to these fireballs, whether they went back out into space or simply burnt up or simply just vanished. They just might just be sparkly and sort of vaporized to nothing, and then suddenly it's all gone, and they think it's sort of vanished or cloaked. So I think it's probably a natural phenomenon, that's rare meteorite makeup that happens probably once every 300 years or something, and just comes down like a meteorite storm enters the atmosphere. This strange though. It's a strange one, because green, if it's alien craft and the sparkling this green color, it's the most visible one, as we found out, in the skies during daytime and nighttime. So yeah, and why would you have it sparkling? Sort of bring attention to yourself. So yeah. So here we got middle is greenish white and lower edge is pink. And it talks about here, the atmosphere at high altitudes contains greater percentages of atomic oxygen and is very thin, given the atoms ample opportunity to emit red light. At the more moderate altitudes, which doesn't actually tell you how far down that is, the combination of red, blue, and green lights from oxygen and nitrogen combine to produce greenish white light. So I don't think it would be ionized gas, but it's possible, I guess, if the craft was electrically charged somehow, and it was ionizing the gas in front of it, but like the space shuttle re-entry. So until it happens again, and we got cameras on these things, I think the last one was early 64, we found out on the last live stream. So yeah, I was hoping to get maybe Robert on or Il on, who know a bit more about this particular case or cases, to see what their opinions are on it. I don't think anyone's on. No, I just have to check the main screen from time to time. So Sun UFOs, what do you got in store for us? Some UFOs we've sort of covered in the past. Most of them are just a lot of them are planets. Why can I get that level? A lot of those ones with the circle and the line going for it is actually Saturn that you see on those scopes. Also, you get radiation bursts, which affect the transmission as well as the CCD sensor on the cameras. So you can't read too much in what you're seeing on the scopes. Some experts claim they can rule it out though as malfunction or transmission errors and other planets that's near the sun in orbit, like Venus, Saturn. And of course, those solar ejections creating that funny black spheres. It's just a normal, natural thing that happens. So I don't think you can read too much into the sun UFOs at all. And you got to remember, if they were that big, they would be the size of planet Earth. Because we looked at that before. The biggest sun in the universe was equivalent to, was it 5 million of our suns, apparently. I think it was 5.1 million suns in it. And 1,000 Earths can fit inside our sun. That's just how big it is. So when you see one of these sun UFOs, a little speck on the screen is actually the size of our planet. So, yeah, you're not going to see little tiny ones that you see in the atmosphere here. It'll probably be less than 1 pixel on the sensor of the sun detection unit. It's a bit like that Utah Falcon one, where everyone's saying it can't be a bird, blah blah blah. But because of the limits of the camera and our technology, there's a certain distance that the lenses and the focal length will pick up any light and register on the sensor. Now, this is going to be the same with the cameras in space. If it's moving far enough away and speed, the camera's just not going to pick it up. Plus, you can't rule out that the UFOs have some form of cloaking. And then they're not going to be, I don't know, flying around saying, here we are. So you can shoot missiles at them or something, because they probably know humans are quite hostile and quite territorial. So why risk being shot down by showing yourself up? It makes more sense why more are seen at nighttime than they are in the daytime. So yeah, probably done with that one, but I'll let you have a read of that. I'll post it down the side. Might come in for a good reference at some point, so I'll just bookmark it too, because we always forget what color gases produce. Gas. There are planets, not those. There are planets, and then there are objects. Yes, sometimes we see, as I've pointed out before, planet-sized meteorites crashing into the sun. You've seen that one where it crashes into the sun and spits out the back of it a big stream of plasma. you can see it's got some force to it, and it goes right to the core, or maybe even through the other side. But like the 9/11 planes crashing into the towers, you can always see the plane or some of it come out the other side. So does that mean that the sun maybe not a hard core within it? We don't know how the sun's made up. They reckon it's just dense plasma, fusion together. But yeah, they used to think it was all hydrogen, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So there's got to be some more going on there that we've yet to understand. But yeah, little tiny objects wouldn't even be seen crashing into the sun. But obviously there's stuff crashing into the sun all the time, just like Earth has meteorites crashing into the atmosphere every day. You never notice them. That's why there's that EMF radar system that sends up RF radio and bounces back any objects that's entering the atmosphere back to these antennas, receivers, and creates a sound effect on it. We've covered that before. Of course, it can be misidentified, some of it's planes, also bouncing off planes. And just natural objects mostly entering the atmosphere and burning up. Lucky enough, they're small and burn up, unless it's like the Russian one that happened not long ago, a couple of years ago now, is it? That shattered the windows, and time it hit the snow, I think it was only like a baseball size fragment they got from it, wasn't it? In the pond that it eventually crashed into, or some of it crashed into, I guess. Whatever it hit. Go to the radioscope. I prefer it shows NASA taking a grey box over. Comet crashed into the object close to the sun. I think the last one to crash into the sun was 2017. Made on the 12th of February. Comet crashed into the sun. An object close to the sun. Don't think so. Crashed into the sun, yes. Object near the sun, I don't think so. It may have just got close to the sun, and of course it vaporized. If it's a comet, it's going to be made up of ice particles, and it's just going to shatter. A bit like these green fireballs, you know, and it's just going to break up and just fizzle out to nothing. What link? You can't post links, can you? Well, that's why you need to get on Discord. You know, you can post the links here. We don't normally allow people. We don't have an option to make people be able to post links. As you can see, can only make them a moderator, and moderator is a high level status here. That's one thing that should be available, is to give temporary posting of link. But obviously they think people are just going to chat and not share links or photographs, so they limited it. But yeah, if you click on Discord and join the Discord, you better go in and you can post links there to share for the live streams. As long as you don't sort of make a nuisance of yourself and post crazy stuff. So did I post that link? I did, didn't I? Yeah. I'll just close that down. Yeah, we've seen meteorites crash into the sun before. Or comets. Well, what do you call a planet-sized thing? Huge. It's not really a meteor. Meteor crashes sun. I think if there's another one that crashed the sun, it would be out on all the Twitter feeds and stuff, saying another big object crashed into the sun. Was it that one there? Could be that one there. What's that from? Largest crashes in 4th of August 2016. Oh, that sound. So this was taken from, obviously, the SOHO. And it happens very quick. But I don't know if this is the one. Oh yeah, looks like it blasts out the end there. That looks like it might be the one. Comes in here. Why is it not playing? Oh, here it goes. It's leaving a tail as it's nearing the sun. Obviously, like a comet. Boom. There you go, knocks out all that out the backside. I'm not sure if that was the one. But they do get fairly big ones hitting it regularly. I think one before then was 2014. Normally the one I saw punches a hole here and comes out the back. So it seems to be able to sequence here because that looks like it goes in. Then it should come out the back. Boom. I think they got it backwards there. Something doesn't look quite right there. So that should happen here when it hits. So they got all these different sensors anyway on there that measures different wavelengths of light or energy, or electromagnetic radiation, I should say. So yeah, and let's see, there was another one, but it's pretty cool to see that happen. Asteroids hit the sun. It's almost like my voice is going. So beginner. No asteroids have been observed to hit the sun, but that doesn't mean that they don't. Asteroids are normally content to stay in the asteroid belt. So those other objects are obviously meteorites or comets. So what's the difference between asteroid and a meteorite? A meteor. I think it's different sizes, isn't it? Between meteor and asteroid. It's like someone's typed in and comet. Oh, click on one of them. What's the difference? A large rocky body in space is an asteroid in orbit around the sun. Meteorite, much smaller rocks or particles in orbit around the sun. Meteoroid. Meteor is a meteorite enters the Earth's atmosphere and vaporizes. It becomes a meteor, or which is often called a shooting star. That's normally called a meteorite when it hits the ground as well. So, what year was that one written here? Because the years it's written makes a difference. 28th, it reckons. As I mentioned, we have never seen an asteroid come close to the sun and vaporize. That's because asteroids are small rocks or pieces of metal. And even when they are being vaporized, they are hard to see. Comets, on the other hand, give off huge glowing plumes of gas, which is probably what we saw before, when they get close to the sun, making them very easy to spot. The SOHO satellite has detected more than 1,100 comets known as sun grazers. These are comets that get close enough to the sun to glow very bright and show up on the SOHO images. Some of them disintegrate, which means vaporize into nothing, while others survive the close call and sail back out of the solar system. So that one we were watching before, I think, was comets that's bent around the backside of the sun, took off. But that's not the one that actually hit the sun. That I've played before, I don't think. So we have to see if we can find it. Meteorite crashing into the sun. It's probably that one there, is it? It happens very quick, of course. Looks like an emanation. We want something that's not an emanation. Largest sundiver comet. So that's similar to what we watched. Stunning. NASA captures giant comet hitting the sun. T. So what year was that one? 2011. This might be this one. Oh, yeah, here we go. Bush, that's the one. So it was 2011, that one. That's pretty cool. And you see, it didn't last very long. Bush. That one definitely clipped the edge of it. Almost went out the other side. I'm like coming through here. So they got a close up of it at the end here. That's pretty cool. I'll post that one down the side here. RT, this stands for Russian television. Meteor. So that one didn't seem as big as the other one we saw, which was like a glowing tail, which is obviously a comet. So we'll play that one again. See if I can zoom in on it. Although it has got a tail, that one too. It says comet. So this is kind of strange because the other page said no comets hit, but they're saying it's a comet here. I think everyone's getting confused. So that one reckons it's fake. A flat earther. Well, that sounds with that one. Looks like there's a lot of skeptics out there. Yeah, so it had to be fairly big. At least size of Earth anyway. So, but yeah, some SOHO images, at same times, just planets, and radiation, glitches, so probably can't find it with that keyword. You'd have to say UFO probably. I think, is it a UFO or just Venus? UK Express. Anything to do with Scott C. Warren, you know it's fake. Bright object seen in Soho, Lascaux, but is in fact the planet Venus. So well, let's have a look at that one. So looks like he's overlaid several images. So here's a planet, Venus, entering. And you can see stars as well, which is quite cool. See background stars moving over planets, probably some of the dots. And also you get lines as well, which are radiation corruption. I think you have to do it frame by frame to see it. Just play that back. So let's see. Playing a lot slower now. So you saw a burst of radiation then, a little strip of light on the sensor. I think there was one there, I just missed it. There you go, another one there. Burst of radiation. Why does it create a straight line like that? That's a good question. It's probably again to do with solar particles. bounce them off here back at the sensor. So yeah, can spend a lot of time looking at that, but can't beat having a proper camera, HD camera in space looking at it. But obviously they can't do that because it burns out the sensor. As it is, it's going through various filters, and also even that has problems, as you saw there. These planets transit are no doubt planets here. Yeah, they reckon on flat Earth that the planet's actually not that far up, like 10,000 feet or something, or plane height, not far above the planes, which go up to 38,000 feet. So I guess it must be up to 40,000 feet. I don't know. They've got some crazy ideas, flat Earth people. So, yeah, there is also, we've talked about the meteorite detection system. Detection using RF, but there's some websites. Meteorite detection sky map. Let's have a look at that one. Meteorite live view. Meteorite detection. There's probably lots of sites doing the same thing. Basically, they set up these big antennas, like radio transmitters, and send up a RF signal, or UH. Maybe it's even UH. It does say VH there though. And then any object that it bounces off, they map it as a sound blip on the screen. So let's have a look what's going on live. I'll see if my CPU handles it, because when you stream, it takes up a bit of a kick in the guts on the CPU. Live view. So what are we looking at here? I haven't seen this one before, I don't think. Can't see much happening there. What do we got here? Oh, there we go. Looks like it's a three-dimensional graph of some kind. If you can read that, you're doing pretty good with your eyesight, better than me. Oh, where's it gone? So trying to put up ads on us. So what's that there? Looks like time, is it? Or altitude? Frequency? What's that one going up the side? Can't quite see. Could be altitude. And what's that one there? Time. So we got time, the access. Someone's beeping me on Hangouts, is it, or is it Discord? Yeah, we got two. We got who's here? Let's see. A51 is here. Is it? I thought it might have been ill. What are you saying? Who's posting where? Okay, so if you joined our group, AT General is where the general comments go, and video chat is a different section. I can make you a temporary friend and get you on. Do you want to talk? To talk. You can talk, but if you start talking about fake UFOs and stuff without really any evidence, we may drop you off. Want to talk? A bit easier than typing. Have to drag you across here. So that's what I'm looking at the moment. So he's on Hangouts. Right. No. So it's just you. Do you want to talk or not? So you're saying space weather. Bum bum bum. So what are we looking at? There's a lot of stuff they produce, separate images and stuff. Every 10 minutes, is it? Or 15 minutes? Start time. So yeah, what link did you want us to look at? So if you got a headset, you can join the chat. I have to set you up. In fact, if you just drop into the voice chat, I'll be able to hear you, and everyone else will. There's a voice only. If you just go into that. So let's put you behind there. But you haven't said what link you've just posted to the homepage there. Okay, that's another homepage. So what are we looking at? Some sort of impact. Another comet. A big bright thing, or is it a sunburst? Like normally the black spots are sunspots, aren't they? So looks like a ejection happening there, is it? No data, no data. And red. What else we got? Yeah, I don't think that's anything unusual, as we've just seen in these videos. It's best to get the video clip, of all their frames before and after it and see how it plays. I don't see it there. Is it on the other page? Yeah, but is there a video clip showing the impact? Because they take a while to download, don't they? Unless it's on YouTube. Number of frames, 3. 18. Yeah. NASA don't always make it easy to understand, do they? It's quite technical, how the sensor work and how they join all the images together. But I think that's just a natural thing. Got too close and sucked into the gravity, rather than skimming around the outside of it and swimming back out into space. Yeah, but that's got to be a fairly big object. So that would be like 10 Earths in size, wouldn't it? That little spot there looks nothing. You can set 1,000 Earths inside this. That's going to be quite a few Earths, that size spots there. Might even be like 20 Earths in size. But if not, we might just move on to some MUFON cases now. The bottom is photon impact data. Okay. You make a video then, because NASA doesn't do a really good job of it. They're quite big images as well. You have to find, it's got various sizes you can download though. It's not clickable here. Well, post it down the sides for people anyway. What's that one called? Stereo. Doesn't sort of have a name, does it? Setchi beacon images. Yep. Oh well, we'll just call it stereo. And the other one, Mason University Space Weather Lab. So it's a weather. So they must be pulling their data from NASA, right? So and just put it onto their website at university. So space weather. So they're more interested in sunspots, obviously. So they're probably trying to relate it to global climate change, or shut down the satellites. They send out warnings, doesn't it? When they get a solar burst ejection going on, they shut down satellites until it passes, just in case. Put them to sleep, then they wake up. How many satellites in space? There's quite a few, aren't there? That's a good question. How many satellites? I suppose there's a few unknowns, the spy ones. In orbit. About 1,100 active satellites, both government and private. Plus there are about 2,600 ones that no longer work. So that's space junk. Russia launched the first satellite, Sputnik. So I thought it would be like 10,000 satellites up there. I suppose they only need to shut off certain satellites that are too high up, that have less protection from the Earth's magnetic sphere. Satellites. Too many T's, is it? Shut down. We call it solar bursts. I'll try that. My keyboard's not working really well. Sun flares pose astronomical risk to comms networks. September last year. Adverse space weather could knock out satellite systems and cost trillions of dollars by shutting down some of the vulnerable components ahead of the storm. So it probably talks about it there. So really, I'd say it'd be all automated, surely. What's this coming up here? Some clever software written at universities. But scientists are taking seriously as a threat the idea that powerful bursts of radiation from the sun might interfere with satellite operators and power supplies. Solar flares are caused by large explosions in the sun's atmosphere. These release huge amounts of magnetic energy, and if strong enough, the radiation they emit can travel to Earth, potentially wreaking havoc with the vital infrastructure. The danger is energy from the flare could interfere with the Earth's communication systems and power supplies, disrupting satellite transmissions. In extreme cases, shutting down the power grid around the world. That hasn't really happened yet, though, has it? There were some outages that happened in America, I think, quite a while ago now. Well, these kinds of solar storms are not a new threat. Here we go. One in 1851 caused telegraph systems in Europe and North America to fail, and several big flares have been identified in recent years. Solar cycles last 11 years, and at peak of each cycle, more sunspots. Areas of intense magnetic activity appear on the sun's surface as eruption of these spots that can trigger solar flares. Scientists at NASA are predicting a period of intense solar activity between 2011 and 2013. I'm not sure if that happened or not. Prompting some warnings of a kind of solar tsunami. I guess it hasn't happened yet. So maybe it's still changing, huh? So that's why climate change is still young science. Let's say man's causing it all, but maybe not. Some have said these storms on the other planet might be an indicator of climate changing for them as well, which has no humans on it. So yeah, still a lot of research and science to it all. So, are you a climate change denier or not on the side? Hey, Dakota. Not Dakota. Dakota. I'm thinking of the other spelling. Where it's Kato. Dakota. Dakota. You're trying to get me tongue twisted, aren't you? Aliens on tour are probably saying to you, your left Earth's metals ring of satellites. Yeah, I suppose it looks a lot in space, but if there were um, comets and meteorites coming into the atmosphere every day, obviously they're not taking out satellites, so there must be fairly big gaps in between. So that's the thing is there's quite a lot of debris up there, isn't there? So are you on Discord? Do you want to come on and chat, talk about UFO stories or anything like that? This is Sunday, so we sort of open it up if people are willing to talk. You don't have to have your face on. If you go into, once you're part of the channel here, you can go straight into this one here, and I can connect into it. Let's see. So now I'm talking into there as well, and you'll be able to hear me if you connect into the headset. Until we get some guests on that want to go on visual, which is none still. We have to set them up in a special group. I'm not sure if it keeps us in there or not, does it? Apparently you can have up to 1,000 people in that group there. I think that'd be crazy. Be too many people chatting over each other. So we've got to have some sort of control. So what was I going to look at? Space debris. I think there was like quite a bit up there, like 100,000 pieces. Debris. How many pieces? So yeah, here we go. There are approximately 670,000 pieces from 1 to 10 centimeters in size. Holy moly. There are estimated over 170 million pieces of debris smaller than 1 centimeter. So yes, quite a lot more than what I thought there was. I thought it was like 10,000. So that's just crazy, isn't it? How does it get so messy up there? I know when they did repairs with the space shuttle, they lost some tools into space and some nuts, of course. When you ever pull a car engine a bit, you always put it back together and you always got a few bits left over. So should I hit that microphone button? All you need to do is just click on that voice only and it automatically connects you in. But it will ask you if you're on a browser version to allow it to take ownership of the microphone. Pops up here in Chrome. It says allow Discord access. Well, you're going to join us. You're not there. You just have to click voice only and it will instantly connect you, just like I am here. I can't see you in the site though. It says, I think is AS, he's disappeared. And yeah, all the E's are offline, it says. Oh, right, you're on live now. You still there, A51? You type in, but if you click on the voice one, Depends if you're using the app, Discord app. If you're using Chrome, you just have to allow it. If you're not sure, just click on your name down the bottom here and click on the little cog, and then you can check the video and audio settings and make sure it's got your mic. I've got it sort of shrinking because I've got an add-on. If you go here, you can choose your input for your microphone and your output. So at the moment I've got the output going to my mixer, which records on the live stream so people can hear what you're saying. But you'll only hear it straight from my headset mic, but you won't hear any sounds and stuff I play on YouTube through Discord because it causes an echo. So yeah, and then you just change it there and click out. And it's pretty simple, really. Still not seeing you drop in there, but I'll know I'll probably hear you. And that sits in the background, you see. You don't have to have you on the screen. You can talk. Saves a bit of typing. Yep, you're still here. Okay. So yeah, I was hoping to get people on that want to talk about their stories. Sundays is normally a good time to do that. But now I've opened it up on 1 p.m. Fridays, which is, I think it's pretty early for California. About 6 p.m. is it? 5 p.m.? 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. we go. Well, we can go any time. We can go up to 8 hours on YouTube. And we've done a couple of 8-hour ones and a couple of 6-hour ones because there was a lot of material to cover and trying to figure out a particular MUFON case together. We had quite a few people on that time. Now just beware of the rules though. No swearing. We're trying to keep it family friendly. So what's happening on UFO Stalker while you get on? I think we've seen that one. It's a video one. How big is it, I wonder? Exaggeration, or maybe they were gonna. It's got some sound on it. So straight away he's aiming it at the sun here, which is going to cause artifacts, on the sensor. We're getting a lot of lens flare happening. You shouldn't really do that to your camera because eventually it'll burn the sensor out. You meant to do it through a welding mask or some sort of filter. That one's probably best to download it. But I could see where it's going to go. He hasn't taken any photographs. Very fast. Hello, someone's joined Discord, I think. Or has dropped out, has it? Who's there? Did it drop out? Silver, you're in the list. You should be able to hear me. Why can't I hear you? Says you got your mic muted here. Make sure your mic's not muted. You mute it down here. Like so.
Hello?
Hello. You figured it out.
There we go.
Yeah, it's not too hard, is it?
Alright, I got a delay on my...
Yeah, YouTube's about half a minute behind us live. It's a bit,
Alright.
yeah, it takes a wee while to get used to it all. So normally what you do is you hit the mute button on the YouTube while you're on voice directly, because you're recording live. So you'll hear yourself 30 seconds later. So where are you from?
I'm from Springfield, Illinois, in the United States.
And
how about you?
And what got you interested in UFOs?
What's that?
What got you interested in UFOs?
I don't know. I was just always heard about them growing up. I was kind of skeptic for a while, and after doing some research, you know, I'm kind of like on the fence sometimes, but I mean, it makes sense that there would be life, possibly UFOs out there. It's hard to prove these days, but you know, if I ever see it, I believe it.
Well, I've had close friends see them, and that's good enough for me. They've seen them from like 300 meters away. So, and plus we've got that video from the Skywatcher who claims it was like 300 meters away. No, it was 100 meters away. So, or 300 feet, and that's pretty close. But I'm not sure if you've watched it or not. So it's called Alien Grey and UFO. It looks like a load of lights at first, and when I start analyzing it and zooming in, you can actually see what looks like a alien grey and a cockpit. So yeah, it's one of the most interesting videos I've got to analyze so far. And if it's a fake, it's a well done fake. Because the guy wouldn't give off his location because it said it was at the back of his house, and he didn't submit it to MUFON, but he submitted to Dr. Greer, who is not very trustworthy anymore. He may have started off with good intentions in the past, but now he just milks people for money for his C5 contact classes, like $2,000 a head, and is really into making money off people. So yeah, he's not to be trusted. I've probably should. I've pointed out some bits on Dr. Greer in the past where he's taken people to a lakeside or seaside, and they start banging drums and I don't know, communicating to ETs, and suddenly these bright red lights appear in the sky, which turn out to be a military exercise with flares being dropped and stuff. And he probably knew that was going to happen. That's why he went to that location, ready for it to happen. So, yeah, you got to be careful of a lot of fraud in the UFO field. But there are definitely a lot of interesting stories out there that can't be explained. It's just a matter of finding them. They're very rare to find. Probably less than 5%, I think, maybe, might be real unknown UFOs. Whether they're military, human-made, or whether they're piloted by aliens, it's hard to know. But the cases that I've heard from friends where it shoots up at impossible speed straight into the sky and blinks out would kill a human inside. So because of the G forces. So we would be doing like 100 Gs, go straight up from a forest straight into the sky. So this was in Germany where friends saw that happen above a forest out their backyard, and 2 people saw it happen. He's dead now though, but it would have been good to get his story onto video. But none of the people in the village documented it. None of them went to MUFON or anything like that. So there's probably going to be a lot of cases like that where people are too scared to talk about it because they'll be made fun of. So yeah. So really, we're just like a group of people here that's in that line where they've had their own sightings and they know that what rubbish is online. And here we're just trying to find the real guts of what's going on. So yeah, so you haven't actually seen one yourself by the sounds of it then?
And I haven't. I want to say maybe I've, I could have encountered some paranormal stuff, but I mean,
Yeah.
could have been just ghosts. But like sometimes I like to kind of link them together, but you never know. Like,
well,
what's your opinion on that? Like, would you think ghosts and
well, I have two
UFOs
I
could
have
be
probably
connected, or?
2 paranormal things that happen twice a year to me anyway. So definitely paranormal is a real thing. I've talked about it on previous lives, but a light I got on a tripod next to my bed here that just simply turned on by itself, and you have to hold the button in for 5 seconds for it to do that. And then the phone on top of it, which is where the camera goes, camera phone for a video camera, also turned on. I have got all those videos on documented and talked about it. Unfortunately, I couldn't use the phone because the phone was the one that's switching on, because it's got the camera. This is the only camera I've got, and it was like 3:30 in the morning. So yeah. Let's see. But there's a few paranormal stuff we've got on here where I talk about paranormal experiences. But yeah, it might be that it lives in the same energy density as the UFOs are using to enter planet Earth, from long distances. So we don't know how. If you imagine our universe is actually more than 3-dimensional, if you imagine it as a 4th dimension, where the 4th dimension is actually the energy that feeds the universe. Somehow they've managed to enter into that energy level to travel at the speed of light or faster than the speed of light to anywhere in the universe. The theory is that the suns are actually portals, and if you're into a sun, it takes you into the energy level, because we don't know where all the energy is coming from a sun. Everyone says it's all chemical process, a bit like plasma and fusion and all that sort of stuff, where lighter elements are being releasing energy and turned into denser objects like iron and stuff inside the core of the sun. But don't know. We don't know, really. We're just guessing until we can actually put probe into the sun, which is probably going to be a long way time ahead, because we've got to figure out a way to nullify electromagnetic energy, which when it enters the atom, it turns it into heat, vibration. So there needs to be a way for energy to be passing through or around atoms so they don't vibrate and heat up, which is possible if you think outside the box. We just haven't come across the science to do it yet. But yeah, one of the theory was that all suns are all connected in the universe, and UFOs simply enter the sun to get into that energy level, and they can, bit like Stargate TV series, pop out in any sun in any location in the universe instantly, which would make sense how you could travel vast space instantly. But of course, we don't know if aliens.
Interesting.
Yeah, we don't know if aliens have always been traveling space. So they might have been around for billions of years or millions of years. And we've been in the technology bandwidth, so to speak, of like 150 years. So we've gone from electricity to supercomputers in 150 years. So if aliens have been around for millions of years, you can imagine how advanced the technology might be by now. So we're just like babies of the universe, and they might be just advanced humanoids that have noticed that we've finally found nuclear weapons, and when you detonate them, obviously it's letting off energy into all dimensions, and it may have the nuclear blast may have been actually like a signal going out into the universe or into this energy level, which has brought the attention of them to us, because they showed up pretty much after World War II, from what I can understand, although they say there had been sightings of other alien craft before then. The bulk of it seems to be from 1947 onwards, and abductions really seem to have kicked off back in the early 60s, with Barney and Betty Hill. So, yeah, it seems to be a progression. But yeah, paranormal is another thing, I don't know, we don't really understand paranormal at all. But yeah, I've experienced cold spots and things turning on, and things jumping on me in bed, and yeah, it can be a bit scary. And my sister's seen apparitions, and I've seen doors open by themselves, and yeah, stuff that science can't explain. So it's all fascinating stuff, and really, that's why we set up these live investigations where people can talk about their experiences, and maybe we can see a common thing, and or maybe new science to it all. So yeah, so what kind of paranormal have you had? Apparitions, or being touched, or things turning on?
Yeah, I haven't been touched that I know of. I mean, possibly. When I was growing up in my old hometown, I had this house. We lived here at my old house. So I used to live in Rochester, and like this house was just creepy. Like I just, as soon as I went in, I just felt like it was. I never liked living there, and then as soon as we moved away, I felt so much better. But like when we were living there, and I was left home alone, like for some reason I was like the only person who ever felt this or noticed this. I just blamed it on being the youngest, because I'm the youngest of three. But like I would be at home, no one was home, everyone had left, and it'd be getting close to dark. My dad just I remember my dad was just leaving to go get some. We lived on a well, so he went out to go get some water for the well and everything. I was just kind of staying inside. I was gonna play my GameCube, because back then, GameCube was my system, and this thing never had any issues, never glitched out, never had any sort of problem. Never, even today, I still play it, and every once in a while, never had an issue with it. This thing like freezes up, starts making this loud buzzing sound, like extremely loud. Like, what is that noise? So I turn it off, and then I I kind of feel uncomfortable. I'm like, I don't know. Like I was just kind of, it scared me. Then suddenly I just hear like footsteps downstairs. Like someone just walked inside wearing like really heavy boots. And there's like walking around my house, like super loud, like stomping around my house. Never knew anyone in my family who wore boots. Walked up the stairs. I heard him walking up the stairs, stopped at my bedroom door. I'm like, holy shit, or holy crap, And I'm just like, okay. And then, like right there, I'm like, was I just hearing that? And then suddenly I just hear it again. Start in the kitchen, like not like 30 seconds. Like, didn't hear anyone go back down the stairs, nothing. Just all up to the door, stop. And it did this for like maybe an hour. I don't know. Like it just got faster and louder. It like freaks me out. So yeah, I called my dad. I'm like, I think someone broke in the house or something. He's like, okay, I'm on my way home. He got home. As soon as he got home, the noise just stopped. Like as soon as he walked through the door, he was just nothing. Scared the crap out of me. And ever since then, I think there's like one point where I thought I saw someone. I was going to bed, and I thought I saw someone standing over me. I wasn't sure. and they got closer. They got so close to my face, and then they eventually just disappeared. And I don't know what past that. Like, it was just freaky. So those are my two best
they're
stories.
called shadow people, and I've had that happen too. And you just wonder if it's your mind playing tricks. But yeah, if you have ongoing things where strange things that can't be explained, like footsteps, things like TV switching on and off, there's probably something more going on there. There is a guy called Jax, Paranormal Underground, that joins us on chat sometimes. He investigates places like that. So you're not in that place anymore, then? You moved away from it, you said.
Okay. And the second place we moved to was perfectly fine, and then we moved. I'm in this different house now, but now since you brought up things turning off and on, I don't really have an issue. I'm even in the very room that is usually, that I claim is kind of haunted. I'm in that very room right now. But usually, because I'm looking at my Xbox, I have an Xbox now, new system. Usually that thing kind of turns on and off every once in a while. Sometimes I'll spend the night down here, turn on, turn off, and then sometimes I just feel like there's someone standing there. I just feel it, like someone is standing when I'm staying down here. I'll fall asleep down here.
Do you feel a cold spot?
I swear, I had a dream.
Yeah. Do you feel a cold spot where that person's standing? Do you feel cold spots where that person's standing?
Yeah. I feel I'm not even looking. I could look at the wall and then just know where that person was. And then one time I was having a dream. Actually, that was when this happened. I was having a dream that my mom was talking to me. I heard someone talking to me, saying something, saying my name, and it sounded clear, perfect, someone is talking to me. And I legitimately thought it was my mom. And then my Xbox turned on. Right after they said something, then it turned on. And I'm like, what in the world? So
have you tried to record sounds and then play it back? You can get like an iPod or something that records a media recorder. Well, usually even your laptop or something like that, or iPad or whatever, with a recorder on it, and just records, and then just play back any sounds. See if you hear any whispering or people talking. I've done that once, and I've picked up a couple of people whispering in my bedroom, which are not there, obviously. And when I've tried to save it, the file got corrupted. So yeah, and I've not had it since, and I was too scared to try it out again because it's 3 or 4 in the morning.
That's been me. I've been too scared to even do that. I've thought about that. Actually, this neighborhood I moved into, just last year, I went to the DMV, and I was just talking to this random person at the DMV, and I was telling them oh yeah, I moved to this neighborhood, and then they're like, that you lived in that neighborhood? And I'm like, yeah, and oh dude, I've heard some creepy stories, and they said that there's a creek, and that right behind my house was a creek. They said there's a haunted creek right behind my house. Is a creek.
Yeah,
it's the only creek I know in this neighborhood, right behind my house. I'm like, son of a, what are the odds? So I might live in the hot spot. This might be the house.
Well, water obviously is related to energy. As you know, electricity can be produced from water. So it makes sense that they'd use it as an energy source. You get negative and positive ions in the atmosphere. And when you get lightning storms or lightning strikes and rain, the air feels nice and crisp. And you can get that with the rivers as well. If it's flowing across limestone and other types of rocks, it can actually produce some form of energy flow, which maybe is related again to this fourth level of energy fields around everything. But there is a series on TV, I don't know if you ever watched it, called The Most Haunted City, and they talk about all the paranormal was following the river of the city or around. So all the people that had paranormal happening had this river or stream in the backyard. And what's it called now? Stevensville? No. It's got Nick Croft from Ghost Hunters, not Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures. He did his own he broke off and did his own paranormal investigation TV series. So he did this one in this most haunted city in America. That was quite an interesting series. And he also did Paranormal Lockdown, which is another one he's doing, which is quite interesting, where they capture stuff on camera and EVPs. But I'm hoping to get maybe Jack's on, to talk about some of the EVPs they've captured on tape recorder. That would be quite interesting to hear some of them. So that could be arranged sometime. So yeah,
That'd be awesome.
But I have actually got some stuff up here. Spooky Earl, this is Earl from MUFON. This one here, he talks about his paranormal cases that he's had with ex-girlfriends. And I talk about my experiences as well as my sister's in the episode here. I'll just copy it down the side here. It's my second interview I did, and it's not using what we're doing now. It's using the older system, so there's no actual video. It's just voice like we're doing at the moment. So paranormal stuff. But yeah, there's a sort of lot of connection between paranormal, because ghosts or apparitions enter through walls and things, similar to what aliens can apparently do. When you levitate out of the house, they lift you up through the roof. They hover above the houses and lift you up through the roof, through the ceiling. And there's been a particular case where it went wrong and the guy got stuck in the ceiling. And lucky enough, he was only just entering and it got back, some of his skin and clothing caught, and it sort of merged it together, and he fell down because they weren't attracting him anymore. Fell down flat into the bed with this gash out of his back, and they rushed him off to hospital. So that one's documented apparently, because it's hospital records with a gash in the back, which they had to sew up. So yeah, obviously aliens technology goes wrong as well. So, but that was one of the questions was at Skidwalker Ranch with the UFO connection.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, with the UFO connection, it might be the case that the UFO aliens are also interested in the paranormal, and that's obviously attracted to the area because it's got a particular energy signature where paranormal occurs, or skinwalkers occur, or whatever, what you want to call them. They might be studying and trying to figure it out themselves. It might be just another life form that sort of mimics humans, like a parrot. It might be talking the same as us, but it actually doesn't know what it's saying. It might be mimicking but other people think it's spirits from ourselves. That sort of proves that we live on, of course, and some go to what they call this tunnel of light, and others don't. And the ones that don't become the ghosts wandering around trying to figure out what's going on with them, because they obviously died, but they don't know they've died or whatever, and they're wandering around wondering what now, which I guess would make sense. So yeah, there's so much things to try and figure out. It was just so yet to understand. Of course, people would call it pseudoscience, but unless you've had a paranormal occurrence happen, there's no way you would accept it as a real thing. And I don't know why some people are more lucky to have paranormal experiences than others, but it could be also to do with the brain makeup, that some people are more chemically tuned in the brain cells to be able to detect these things. So you're not actually seeing it or hearing it with your ears, ears as such, but it's actually being transmitted straight into your brain, a bit like mind control. And that's forming the images in your head. So you're seeing the apparitions. That's why some of them, they say, did you see that? But it's not on camera. It might be that's being transmitted through the actual brain itself rather than through the eyes or through light. But yeah, some of it's like that and some of it's not. Some of them, they do catch on thermal images where you see a heat signature of a person walking past. So yeah, it's up and down everywhere. It's really hard to figure out all the different things with paranormal, whether it's related to.
I agree. I believe a lot of people try to like pass it off as scientific, like the people who don't believe in ghosts and will like deny it and be like, oh, well, you know, swamp gas, you know, or something. Like they'll try to throw something in there and be like, yeah, I mean, like the reason why your TV turns on and off is because you know, air vents and it gets in the way and, you know, it activates, you know, they'll try to come up with some explanation for it. And you know, just completely deny it because then it goes into like religion or something. But like, well, you know, you die and then you become a ghost. But like, people, you know, like, I just feel like it just comes to people just want to have an explanation for everything that either scientific or it's a ghost. You know, it's one or the other.
Yeah. Unless you've experienced yourself and you can rule it out as explainable by science. You're never ever going to comprehend it. Now, Earl there on that one I just posted there has a really interesting story about a painting that kept coming off the wall. So they go in one room, come back out, and the painting would be on the table, and then they'd hang it out, go back out, and then come back home again, and it'll be on the table again, and stuff like that. So he talks about that in this episode that we do for 1.5 hours. And the one I've recently had 6 months ago was this. Where is it? You'd have to see it on YouTube because we're just doing voice. This one here with my stand. It drained all the batteries as well. It's another thing that happens. Although the lights tried to turn on and also the phone turned on, I turned them off. I turned off the phone, but the light itself was totally drained. And I go and turn on the phone the next morning, and that one's totally drained as well. And they were both fully charged, sort of thing. So it's quite interesting. Have a look at this light on a tripod next to my bed. Lamp and phone. There's no way those two things could turn on by themselves without having the button pressed, which is really strange. The thing is, I was asleep and then suddenly I woke up and I was staring in the way of the tripod, and I saw the LEDs going up and down on the back, which I knew only happens when you first turn it on. And I thought, what the F? And then I just stood there, and then I saw the smartphone on top turn on by itself. You know how the back that LED lights up, and you suddenly get all the icons on the smartphone show up. So I thought, hang on, something's going on here. And it's kind of creepy, but I'm sort of used to that sort of stuff. And you just tell them to go away and leave you alone, and generally they do. And you don't hear any more about it until 6 months later, and something else happens again. But yeah, that's the craziest thing I've seen physically happen, was this light coming on. But I've had these other things where things have jumped on my back in a sealed room, door shut, window shut, and no cats or dogs in the room. And something jumped on my back, and I could feel the two little feet, which I thought was very strange. And I thought I was laying there, and you could feel this funny sensation. It's like you're touched with some form of energy bolt, you know, like someone's a cattle prod. Someone stuck it in your back, and you got this funny sensation happening. And then I felt it take a step, and I thought, nah, I'm not going to lay here anymore. I've got to see what it is. And I jumped up and drifted off, I guess. And I quickly ran over to the other side of the bed because I got a queen size bed. So I slid across where the lamp was and quickly touched it because it's a touch lamp to turn it on, and there's absolutely nothing there. And I thought, am I losing my mind or what? You know. So these are the strange things that's happened to me, and that light there confirms that there's more going on. So something comes to visit every so often. I think they attach to you as well. So if you move from that location, you might find it follows you around into your new location. It may be like a year before something happens, but it'll probably happen again. So yeah, some people, like I said, are more open and may also have a brain chemistry where they actually can see them, where other people can't. So that needs to be like studied more, figured it out. But as you know, people sort of take the mickey out of it all, especially TV news channels, and do it for UFOs, and they would do it for paranormal as well. But yeah, you just have to keep searching for answers, really. So we have talked about other UFO stuff, paranormal stuff here as well. I talk about my out of body in this episode here, and my dreams that have.
I've been interested in out of body.
Yeah, I had it when I was.
I've been trying to do that for like a year. I mean, like I've been off and on about it. I've been trying to achieve out of body, and it's really hard. I mean, I don't know. It's just like I've gotten to like kind of sleep paralysis, and I've seen some crap. Like I've seen some stuff, and that's what got me into the out of body thing a little bit, because I've had like, I think I count that when I heard someone talking to me and I was like having a dream. But there's also another time where I was down here as well, and I just happened to fall asleep. It was actually like, so it was 2 years ago from this month. It was like right on Valentine's Day, like the 15th, actually, like the night, like that night. I went to bed, and then I was asleep, but yet I was looking like, it was sleep paralysis. So I was like looking down at the foot of my bed. I saw like a shadow, like that shadow figure. I actually saw it standing there, staring at me, and I didn't know what to do. I felt completely calm. I didn't feel like freaking out, but just staring at me. I was staring back, and then that went on for what felt like a minute, and then I woke up. Like I woke up and I jolted up, and I'm like, "Was that a dream?" But like I saw my room so perfectly, exactly how it is. So that's what got me interested in out of body.
Yeah, I've had it happen once, but I wouldn't want it to happen again because it's kind of scary. But yeah, I don't know. You'd have to get one of those special tanks for your basement, yeah, where you're in absolute dark and you're just floating in the water, and with lights covered your eyes, or LED lights, whatever it is, stimulates your dreaming state, and then you get the outer body happening, apparently. But yeah, I was not sure how it happened to me. I was laying in bed, I think, and I was looking up at the ceiling, and I was thinking how it would be interesting if you could float up and touch the ceiling, and that suddenly happened. My face was pressed on the ceiling. I could feel my hand. I could put my hands up. I could feel the ceiling, and my eyes were like an inch away from it had a pattern on the ceiling. It's really abnormal you normally have painted white ceilings, but in this house, it actually had wallpaper on the ceiling. So I knew I was really close to it because the pattern was like a couple inches away. And I pushed up and I rotated around, and I could see myself in bed with my mum laying on the other side. And next minute, I remember gasping and my chest, me bouncing up in bed. Like I've been shocked, and I must have snapped back into the body. But yeah, that was my out of body experience, and I talk about it in the episode there, and I emanate it. But I also talk about the other stuff, my dreams that come true. Yeah, some strange stuff which can only be explained by the quantum mechanics of science, where you got quantum entanglement and spooky stuff at a distance, as they say. But I also did a thing here, taking some clips from various TV shows and enhancing them. But at the end here is Nick Croft one. Let's see if I can find it. I did it as a Christmas special, actually. So yeah, this is the one for Ghost Adventures that made him famous. Apparently, there's an apparition that walks across on infrared here. Not sure if you can see it at the moment, but as you can see, you really need 4K quality. I think you can see something moving here. It's like a head. See how the lights are sort of faded here? You might have to look on YouTube. You'll be,
I see it.
yeah, you'll be a minute, you'll be 30 seconds behind probably. But yeah, you can see it walk.
Okay.
Bang, bang. I sort of draw around it there, but yeah, that's quite an interesting capture. Now that can only be hoaxed if there's a glass panel in between here, and someone is shining a light on someone that's walking, that's behind the camera. So yeah, let's see.
Did you say this was again?
This is Ghost Adventures' first episode ever. But you can see there's this kind of a shadow walking there. Definitely looks like it's walking and taking a step. So they reckon that was some sort of gold miner that had killed himself. That used to stay up there.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there's another one here. So I sort of got some of the best things here, but this one's really hard to see. But there's actually a man that's sort of crawling along the floor here. Let's see if I can see it.
Oh.
Here it is here. See this here? It's a leg. And you can see the arm coming down here.
Yeah.
And another arm there. And it's like a white, again, another white sort of man. It's just pulling itself along like the legs or his back is broken. It's very hard to see, but I had to be really careful how much I used due to copyright, as you know, which is kind of ruins it because I'd like to analyze this again and do it much better because now I know a few more things about video editing. But yeah, you see a man sliding across here like a white thing.
I don't know if you see this, but there's like red and green. There's a big red and green thing. It's kind of annoying. I don't know.
A red and green thing. The play button.
The center. I mean, it might just be my laptop actually.
Should all be black and
That's great.
Should be black and white or sort of greys anyway. But yeah, you can see like it only happens for a few seconds. You see this thing sliding across the floor. But yeah, like I said, I could only do small clips without getting copyright strikes. I posted it in there, and it's got like 8 things there, I think, from different shows, apparitions. But I've yet to see an apparition myself. But it would be really fantastic to see it. I think I spelled that right. I'll just correct that. And here I thought you were going to talk about all your UFO sightings. You're talking about paranormal. Apparition.
Yeah, I don't have enough UFO stories. I did see a video on YouTube. I was going to bring it up, but I can't find it now. But I don't want to talk about a channel that I was following. I don't know if you want to talk about Secure Team or anything. I don't know.
We sort of get bored with him and trying to expose the stuff he's putting up here. But yeah, this is the one Taps did, which looks like a monk in a Obi-Wan costume. You see it heading towards the camera, then does a quick 180. It's really hard to see. But it's there. Enhanced it. It's a bit better. You can see it sort of runs away again. So we don't know if that was someone actually doing a prank. You can sort of saw a white shoe down here, but yeah, it's sort of like drawing around it here. But I think I could do a lot better now. Like I said, I got new tools to do it. So it's like, why is it not coming up? It's like a man and a monk's thing. Why would that be in a prison? I don't know. A bit like that, you know. But yeah, best to watch it on your big screen. Just play the episode directly. Anyway. So yeah, it's kind of like this here, you know.
Yeah, there's an outline.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a few things here. A thermal image of what could be, what you could say is a Civil War troop on shadow on the thing, but people think it might be just a reflection of a cameraman. But to me, it looks like someone looking down, holding something here. So it could be a cameraman, but kind of like it might have a hat. So that was on Ghost Hunters, TAPS as they call themselves. That there is just a handle on a door of the cupboard or the metal safe, I think it was, or something like that. The reflection of a metal. So it could be heat coming off a cameraman that's sort of following them around. But they tried to duplicate it after on the show and they couldn't get the same thing to happen. So yeah, they were at a location where Civil War happened. So kind of makes sense that they might get an apparition reflection on the cupboard, you know. So they actually got two views of it, one of it looking down more and one where it's standing up again. So yeah, it's hard to know because the thermal is just color grade. But yeah, I don't want to go through all those on here again, but you can just watch them separately. So yeah, you probably might want to talk to Jax. Maybe even he'll come out and investigate your place for you. Sometimes he travels around the country. But
Pretty interesting.
yeah, he hasn't joined my Discord still. I told him to. As you could talk to him.
Yeah, just for the sake of the channel, I could just go around and record, see what happens, and I'll send some stuff into the Discord.
Yeah, sure. You could try it. Any phone camera will have a record app on it that you can use. Basically, you can say, "Is anybody there?" and see if you get a reply. But they reckon that sometimes like a what do you call a spirit board, and it opens up doorways. So I don't know.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I hear about that Ouija board stuff, and I don't want to. I don't even want to get involved.
Yeah,
with that.
but when you're using tape recorder, they reckon it's like
simple thing.
Yeah, but
are you here? I'll just do that.
Well, they reckon the telephone recording is just like a spirit board, but I don't think so. But I know my sister mucked around with one as teens, and they did it once for 5 minutes and never again because the glass actually moved, and none of them said they did it. So it all freaked them out. They all took their hands off it at the same time, and this thing was moving. And I was laying on top of the couch watching what they were doing. And I think since then, we've always had something strange. Like I always felt like something was watching in my bedroom. You know, you always feel that feeling that something's always watching you. It's kind of creepy, but yeah. I think it just opens up a doorway, like they say, into this energy level where spirits can come through. Maybe because everybody's brain's focused on it, maybe, and it sort of generates a field of some sort, a brainwave field. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know.
Paranoid or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Spirit boards I'd stay away from myself. I've only heard really bad things of them, but you see enough of these shows on TV using voice recorders and stuff, and they don't seem to have any bad effects happening from what I see, unless they invoke it. But yeah, I don't think, you know, when I've had dreams of demons and stuff, I always beat them up. And that's one way to deal with it, I think. If you have bad dreams of demons as kids, always turn it around. If you think of it as energy, these things are energy. Obviously, they are energy because we're not seeing it as a physical mass. Then it's got to be energy. And energy, obviously, is going to be either cold or hot or in between, you know. It's going to be fluctuating. And that's why we can pick it up on these special cameras, infrared cameras and stuff, thermal cameras. So,
You ever tried that thing with your hands where you put your hands like a foot apart and then you kind of bring them close and then pull them you pull them apart and then you do it and you do that enough until it feels like there's like a magnet in between your hands, or people have different sensations. It's like a magnet, or you feel cold wind air.
Yep.
But usually you do that for like 5 minutes. You imagine like a little ball in your hand.
Yep.
And that's pretty interesting. Like that's kind of how I imagine that. It's like that field is like your force field, and you can expand that as big as you want it.
Yes, it's sort of the same idea, I guess. But yeah, I don't know if you have experienced paranormal all the time. That's some of the tricks that I found anyway. Well, have bad dreams, is that you can be more powerful than any negative force that's invading your thoughts, your energy patterns, or whatever, you know. And then you get less and less scared, you know. I think if you were a paranormal investigator, you certainly would become less and less scared, and yeah, you'd be like probably a sack of ghost adventures, who I always think is a wee bit of a tool myself, or showman, and it's hard to know whether he's being real now or just doing it for the big money out of it all. But yeah, I don't know. You'd have to watch his very first one where they get the apparition walk across the screen. You have to find a really decent copy to what I've got there, off the 4K or whatever it is. If you can find a 4K of it, then you'll be able to see it better on a really big screen. But yeah, and also he gets a brick thrown at him apparently, but it's very hard to see the brick being thrown in that same episode. So yeah, it's like a ghost town where he's annoying the ghosts and they throw a brick at him. But yeah, he's a bit of a jock, that guy. He mucks around a bit, you know, and curses at him.
I've seen that one where the brick got thrown, yeah. And he was like doing some Western city or something, and then there was like the worst something. He was like the worst person that ever lived. I forget what he did. He was like a bandit or something. And then it was like the city, and then it's just like if you mention his name, you get like a brick thrown at you, and he's like, "Where'd that brick come from?" Pretty insane.
Yeah. So yeah, but that wasn't well documented. I don't think anyway. You didn't really see it. You hear things though, but some of the stuff you hear on these shows, they hear like a whistle or a hoot, and you know straight away it's an animal, but they hear it as a young girl or ghost or whatever, and yeah, I think what are they thinking? They're not sort of being critical minds here, because you got to eliminate wildlife and also animals in the loft and stuff like that. But footsteps is a hard one to bust open, especially if they got cameras on stationary posts up where they heard the footsteps. So that's a common one. And they reckon that might be a real phenomenon where certain stone can record sound waves and play it back depending on electrostatic flow of energy above it. It plays it back like a gramophone. So you hear blonk, 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 blonk noises. You know, it's recorded someone walking across the floors a century ago. and certain nights of where it's like the right conditions and energy, electrostatic energy can flow, they can actually play it back. There's a pub in UK where that's actually happened, and apparently they can hear everybody cheering and laughing some nights, the owners, and they go in there and there's no one in there, but obviously it's playing it back at the same time, random nights, all this noise, which some scientists reckon it's actually the type of clay they used, which recorded it like a phonograph and will play it back. Well, electromagnetic. It's got like a lot of iron or magnetized particles in the clay or whatever. So yeah, I suppose there is some science to it. It might be actually something rational, some of these things. But yeah, my sister's boy, he went ghost hunting, and he reckons they're in a abandoned house, and they could hear people walking around on the second story, and they knew no one was up there, and they'd go up there, and of course no one's there. So yeah, I suppose that's something you got to experience, and sort of scratch your head. But sounds like you've had a wee bit going on in your own house, which is something that you probably could document and actually get some hard evidence of it. Actually, generally, I find it happens. I find it happens when you're alone. When you got anyone else with you, it doesn't happen. Rarely happens. So you're more likely to get it happen when you're on your own, and you'll find that, like I did with my batteries, that the batteries will go flat and you can't record it. Unless you got a AC line going into your laptop or something like that, then you can use the laptop recorder or something like that. But phones and all that, the battery just die, or the video gets corrupted, or whatever. Something strange happens anyway. But like UFOs, they say UFOs won't let you record them, and if you do, the video gets corrupted or vanishes the next day. Which is what apparently Stan Romanek had happen at a party when Alejandro Rojas was there. Apparently there was this girl that had like bigger than normal eyes that was just standing out in the dark, looking towards the house, and they opened up the door and started videoing her and said, yeah, what? Who are you? Are you lost? And she looked at them and ran away up the street. So they played back the video and showed everybody this strange girl with the big eyes, like a human hybrid, I suppose. And he went to play it a second time to people, and the video self-destructed while they were watching it. So they had no evidence. But Alejandro said that happened on a news clip on one of his open minds probably a couple of years ago now, so you probably can find it and listen to the story. So everyone was saying that Romanek was faking stuff, but there are occasions like that where they've got a crowd of people that actually see this thing happen, and they saw it all happen with the video and stuff. So maybe he's not faking it, and him.
Those are the best scenarios, is when there's a mass amount of people that saw it and witnessed it happen, and then no one can deny it then if a whole bunch of people saw it, unless everyone was in on it. So yeah, that's pretty interesting.
That's right.
I have to look into that.
Yeah, if you can find the story, I can't find. I tried to find the original episode because people always hounded them with that child kiddie stuff that happened, and saying that he was throwing rubber bands around and stuff. But he actually did admit to doing that after he said that he was threatened, and they said try and make himself look like he's a faker, or they'll maybe kill off one of the family or something like that. So he decided to not take the risk because he was being investigated with the kiddie stuff at the time. So yeah, he says this on an interview anyway. They talked to him and asked him why did he do it and all that, and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, but I got this threat and to decided to go ahead and throw things around just to make it look fake. So yeah, I don't know. He could be faking some of it could be legit. I sort of give people the benefit of the doubt myself, and those alien pictures that appear on his phone are kind of interesting. You know, the ones with the one that looks around the door frame. If that's a puppet, then someone's done a exceptionally good job of it, because you can see it blink its eyes and stuff. You know, it's a bit like you see on these Hollywood movies. I'm not talking about the one that comes up to the window. That one could easily be faked. But he's also got other strange images where you can see what looks like alien greys going off into the darkness, and they amp up the contrast, and you can see them in the distance. So whether that's faked, it could be. This is a problem. Anything on video or audio can be faked. Some physical evidence that you need, you know, piece of DNA from, or a piece of clothing, or a piece of metal from the craft. You need something physical as well. That's shows it's not been manufactured on Earth. You know, it has to be some sort of materials they talk about that can only be made if you got some high tech that can do it. You know. So yeah.
Did you ever hear the Stardust Ranch story? You know if that's true?
Yeah, there's Skinwalker Ranch, and there's also Stardust, which also Ghost Adventures did. So you might be able to find the episode that they do that. And
Okay. Yeah, I heard that Stardust, the guy like cut the alien, and then he got like the flesh or something, and then he like shipped it off. I think there was something like faulty with the flesh or something. Like they tested it, so it was weird. Like, you know, they identified it as some flesh. I don't know. Like they researched it, and they said that's not normal. That's not normal, and all this stuff. But then it like deteriorated over time, even though they're trying to take good care of it. I can't remember everything, but it was a pretty interesting story.
Well, I've heard of Stardust, but I've not heard about any alien artifact being from it. Just like paranormal, weird paranormal stuff that happens there, a bit like Skinwalker Ranch. But yeah, you're not talking about the Reed guy that faked his dog being killed by the alien. What's his name? Who's out there that knows the name that I'm thinking of? Christopher Reed, is it? Reed. I'm not sure how it's spelled either. See if I can find it on Google. Anyway, that was total hoaxed. It was hoaxed. Anyway, UFO incident. Maybe. I got the caps on.
No, never mind.
Is that the one? Thomas Reed. Not sure if that's the name. Don't think it's Thomas.
There's John Edmonds. And that's, yeah, John Edmonds.
No, I think it's that one. I think it might be spelled somewhere, something like that one there. Harry Reid? No. I keep forgetting the names of people, but yeah, it was on Fact or what is it? That Fact or Faked Paranormal series that was on TV that had Ben Hansen on it, and they put him through the voice stress analysis and say he was lying. So Christopher Reed seems to ring a bell. I'll just try. But apparently that's not even his name. Christopher. I was meant to debunk him and bring out the information that I had on him. Christopher V.
Keep finding John Edmonds on the story. An Arizona man has put his ranch up for sale because he says he has been harassed for years by aliens who even tried to abduct his wife. John Edmonds, owner of the Stardust Ranch in Rainbow Valley, about an hour west of Phoenix, is a popular figure in alien believers community and publicizes purported encounters with extraterrestrials on Facebook, claiming it's the reason he wants to sell his ranch. And there's a comment on this video that says he's killed 19, but he's never taken one clear photo of them.
So why hasn't To the Stars investigated there. They talk about Skinwalker Ranch, but Stardust Ranch, would you think if this guy's making all these claims that you'd send some investigators there to try and document it, where the equipment fails or batteries go flat or something like that, you know? But yeah,
there's not too much documented on the ranch.
so you might be.
I heard that
these people make up these stories, right?
Yeah, I didn't hear.
They make up the stories because they want to sell the property for more than they can normally get it for, you know. So you got to be careful of these people making these extraordinary claims without any actually physical evidence or even video footage for that matter. Which is the same with Skinwalker Ranch. They've got no. We've not seen any physical or video evidence of strange things happen. People talk about it, but there's never been captured on film, which is really strange.
There's tons of stories, no photos, no nothing, no videos. But they said that there's a creature out there like Predator, and it just snatches up people, and they just laugh about it. It's like, what? You can't just like talk about that and not have any evidence.
Well, it may actually be true, because I was talking about all the people going missing in USA, and there's close to 1 million people gone missing in USA since what was it, the 1900s or something like that. From a certain timeline, anyway. Yeah, but they get about 10,000 people go missing in America every year. And I put that out there. Could the aliens be abducting them as a food source? You know? And if they got cloaking technology, it makes sense that they could have cloak and clothing that makes them invisible, where they can sort of kidnap people. But yeah, why would you do it on a ranch constantly and be not do it secretly? You know, and those ones disappear. No one knows what's happened to them. And they just forget. Yeah. They just get forgotten. You've probably heard of 411 guy, the 411 guy that writes the books about all the missing people. And they were talking about.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Actually, I have not.
Yeah, they were talking about the Bigfoot connection, where they mostly go missing in national parks, and someone will be like a couple of meters behind them, and they turn around and suddenly they've disappeared off the track. And they don't know what's happened to them, you know, and they reckon it might be like a Bigfoot that grabs them, runs across the road or footpath or whatever, and runs down the hill with them, puts their hand over the mouth. If they're like a big ape or something, I suppose they could do it. Or snap the neck and kill them straight away. Yeah. You know, they might just grab them and snap the neck and run off and use it as a food source. You know, because that's what they do. Apparently, the Bigfoot run up to deer and just simply grab them and snap their necks. Some claim anyway, but we've never actually seen that actually happen. Again, it's more stories, and people just love the stories, and we still got no evidence.
That's what national parks are pretty dangerous. I think that was mentioned in the 411. If you go to a national park, just any national park, if you go to a popular one, you could be at risk of like disappearing forever, because if you go in there, you know, people just disappear, and it's the weirdest thing ever. And I think that's mentioned in that 411 book. It's crazy.
Let's see. I'm just trying to figure out that guy's name. I know if we had some of the side chatters on, the normal regulars on, they would know straight away who I was talking about. Christopher Reed, Timothy Reed. He was on. Art Bell used to talk about this guy quite a bit too, and he believed the story. But when someone actually investigated it all, apparently he was walking the dog and come across this small triangle UFO, a bit like Renison Forest incident, and the being was hiding behind a tree when they approached it, and the dog tried to attack the being because it wasn't on the lead, and it sort of I'm not sure if it broke its neck or shot a laser gun at it or something, but killed the dog apparently. And he got mad and he killed the alien. I'm not sure. I think he picked up a tree limb apparently and then went and bashed the alien to death, which sounds like a far out crazy story. But maybe he got upset because the dog was killed and decides to leave the UFO there. I think he may have covered it, and to come back and he puts the carries the alien. Oh no, he covers up the alien and the UFO craft. I think the story was, and because he was walking, he had to walk all the way back to his house, get the 4-wheel drive, go to the area. He put the being into the truck and took it back home and stuck it in the deep freeze. And apparently, I think there was some sort of gadget that the alien used to kill the dog, that he got, some communication device or something. And the UFO, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened to the UFO now. It's a story that I've not heard for at least 3 years anyway. So I'm not too sure on the facts. But that's why I was just trying to find the original story of that one, and the person that exposed the guy as trying to make a story up to make lots of money, because he went to Art Bell and all that and tried to make a big story about it all. Just trying to think what the guy's name was. So might have to put UFO hoax, dog killed, or something like that. It might come up. Dog killed. The only one I've heard where dogs got killed as well. Oh yeah, apart from the Maury Island one, which is also a fake story, of course. Let's see. Oh yeah, Flatwood Knots was another one where the dog got killed by poisonous gas. Forgot about that one. Here it is, walking the dog. I think it might be this
Hunters.
one. I think it might be this one. Mirror. Man probes alien he claims to have caught while walking his dog, but there's bad news as now says it's escaped. Maybe it's not that one then.
Sounded close.
Sounded close to him. Maybe it is him. Let's see. Let's see if we can read it. Ah, Jonathan Reed. There we go. It is. Dr. Jonathan Reed found the creature while walking with his dog. In anger, Reed, who says he was a psychologist, used a log from a nearby tree to hit the alien, believing that he had killed the creature. He then took it back to his home, which is not true because he was by foot. I don't think he'd carry it on his back. Where he spent time probing it. Sounds pretty sexual. Claiming he caught the whole thing on camera. Let's see. Jonathan Reed. The video shows Reed apparently unwrapping the alien. So let's see. Does it play? So at least now we got his name anyway. Looks like it's not playing. Oh, here it is up here. I don't like to play newspaper ones because they often get copyrighted. But anyway, it turns out to be all a hoax. Let's see if I can find information. Interesting story, you know, but clearly it's a hoax because when you have a look at the video, it looks like a cardboard UFO. Are you there? Big noise happened. Hello? You got cut off today? Are you there? Oh, you disappeared. Are you there?
Did I?
All right, you're there now. I thought you dropped.
I'm here.
I thought you dropped off. Okay, Dr. Reed and the Screaming Alien Hoax. So which one have we got here? This
Alien Hoax.
Published by Casebook. Apparently they find out his real name. Apparently it's this alias. So here's the alien anyway, what it looks like. It looks like a paper mache is what everybody said. This article was originally published by UFO.
Okay. Oh, darn.
Is that here? Or?
Okay.
It might be here. I don't know.
My video throws on my laptop.
All right.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why if we do video, if you want to do video, I can stream your video in real time if you want. But I have to see if I can add you to the group, which is a bit more complicated under Discord. We had trouble doing it last time. The original video was published on UFO Casebook back in 2002. And the fantastic claims of one Dr. Jonathan Reed seem to have come under heavy fire as late. Reed, as many of you know, claimed to be a Seattle psychiatrist who, in October 1996, took his golden retriever, Susie, with him on a hike to one of the Cascade Mountains and found a strange alien creature and a hovering black obelisk. I thought it was a triangle. Reed claims to have killed the alien, brought it back to his house, and photographed it, only to eventually have it stolen by the FBI or whatever. One day in question, Reed's dog was sniffing around the brush until something caught her attention. Susie bolted ahead of Reed, who soon heard her barking. In a moment or two, that barking turned even more ominous sounding. Reed was sure that Susie was in a fight with a wild animal, maybe a bear. They had spotted one earlier in the day. Grabbing a large tree branch to ward off some fierce competitor, he finally came close enough in to see the cause of the struggle. To his utter shock, he was staring at a being beyond his wildest imagination. The beast was moving at light speed and vibrating simultaneously. The beast grabbed Susie and began to tear her to shreds. Reed yelled and caught the attention of the beast, who stared at him in a fierce, menacing fashion. Somehow Reed managed to crack the beast on the head, supposedly killing it. Whoop. Go away. The creature was about 4 to 5 feet tall, but had more mature features than its childlike size. Creature was wearing a one-piece seamless black garment, which rejuvenated itself when cut or torn. So that's why hasn't he got that on film? You know, if he's got the suit, all he needs to do is cut it and see it joining back together. Reed, so it's a bit suspect there, you see. Reed, exhausted from the emotional or adrenaline flowing event, rested for a time, contemplating what to do. After a period of 2 hours, Reed heard a humming sound in the forest and followed it until he saw a black obelisk hovering above the ground. So yeah, you'd get your camera, wouldn't you? Fighting off heavy electrostatic laden air, Reed managed to touch the obelisk. Why would you do that? You know, you don't know what it's going to do. Eventually, the humming stopped. He neither saw nor heard anyone or anything else in the vicinity of the black obelisk. The doctor was sick and totally exhausted, but tried to regain his strength. Darkness was drawing near, so Reed wrapped up the alien in a thermal blanket for the long 1.5 hour journey back to transportation. So he's saying he's carried it back in his backpack, I guess, but it seems a bit strange. All that while, 1,000 thoughts went through his head. What was he had in the discovery of the century? If so, how could he preserve and protect it? Arriving home, he placed the alien in a freezer in his garage. Well, wouldn't the freezer straight away damage it? You know, whenever you freeze stuff, it's never the same because the ice crystals expand and destroy the cells. That's why it's better to eat, if you're a meat lover, to eat the meat freshly killed that day rather than take it from the freezer. Tastes amazingly different. Soon he fell into a deep sleep. And the next day he went back to the freezer, took out the alien, and all the while manipulating the alien body parts, videotaped the creature, manipulating the alien body. He tried to find some friends to share the experience, but managed only one. He tried to hide his photos and videos with another friend, but the bulk of the evidence was ultimately lost, except for some that he managed to stow away. Reed claims that he and his friends were followed everywhere they went. The lice threatened and Reed's house ransacked. The alien, which had miraculously come back to life, was gone. Reed says that he had to live underground for 2 years and could not get even one UFO group to help him with his story. He also claims to have been shot during the years following the ordeal. He has spoken before several UFO groups and written a book on his experience, Link, an Alien Extraterrestrial Odyssey. So it goes on a bit. Just recently, his credibility has suffered greatly until Reed came substantiate his claims. He considered a charlatan and flim-flam man. Usually when you hear a story that is too good to be true, it is. I have been asked many times why my website contains mostly older sightings and abductions. This is exactly why. See the following letter, BJ. Sean Alanti, founder and former director of San Diego UFO Society, no longer supports or considers the alien in the forest encounter or what is known as Dr. Jonathan Reed's story to be real. This story occurred in mid-October 1996 in the Cascade Mountains in Washington State. I became aware of the story on October 21st, 1996. A few weeks later, on November 11th, Jonathan Reed and Robert Rafe went to Art Bell's show and told the story. They were both on 2 later shows in 1998, and I was on another show with them in December of 1999. There were more allegations against Jonathan Reed that occurred on the Jeff Rennes radio program on May 2nd, 2002, which Royce Myers, Kathleen Anderson, Bill Wiener, and blah blah appeared. Bill Wiener and Denise Chavit knew Jonathan Reed very well before October 1996. Both stated that his real name is Jonathan Bradley Rutter and told about information about his personal history that is contradictory to what Jonathan has been stated on radio shows, and public lectures, websites, etc. The information is available at the website UFOWatchdog.com, and many may be heard in the archive section of the Jeff Rennes, I'm not sure you say that, radio program at rennes.com. The latest information, along with other related problems the last 3.5 years, combined with Jonathan Reed Rutter unwillingly to have his supposed evidence, video, slides, pictures tested at qualified laboratories or facilities, and those results made public of the analysis in a printed form. Jonathan Reed made a statement about 3.5 years ago on the first Up Bell show that he would be open to do all this. So I finally made the decision, dropped my support and belief in the Jonathan Reed story, now really known as the Jonathan Bradley Rutter. May Sean Alenti may reconsider the Jonathan Reed story if all of the following conditions are met. It goes on a bit. An investigation of the Jonathan Reed Rutter and would-be turned police FBI style investigation. Complete background check of the employment history, education, family. So that's basically the same as Bob Lazar, really. And proof of the dog known as Susie in his story through dog licenses. Well, that makes sense. The location, address of the house that Jonathan Reed Rutter claimed he lived in at the time of the encounter, and proved that he rented it from so-called Larry Arthur, now really known as Larry Cyber, and that Larry Cyber really owned it. Full names of the two other characters in the story. As stated before, a complete testing of the supposed evidence, forensic examination of the supposed gunshot wound, and Jonathan Reed's soldier by the qualified doctor. I need a drink.
Get some water.
When you got sinuses and trying to breathe and talk at the same time, it gets dry. There are probably other areas that need investigation. So yeah, basically he's been found out. So if he was honest, why did he make a fake name and say this is not an alias? Which generally you do. You say, oh, I'm Bob Lazar, but that's not my real name. But you can know me as Bob Lazar or whatever. Well, actually, he did originally change his name, didn't he? He called himself Dennis or something. To when Bob Lazar come out, he said he was Dennis to George Knapp interview, and later come clean once his identity was broken. I'm not sure how it got broken though. I can't remember now. How it got originally broken. Someone figured it out. I suppose they had to do a background check and they had to get some real information out. I guess that's probably one way to break it. So apparently this is what the UFO looked like down here. I think that was the photograph, is it? But you can see here it looks more like a diamond shape rather than an obelisk. But yes, this is another good story, like the time travelers from the future story. You know, the guy's claiming he's had a Dr. Reed is an imposter, but the alien footage is genuine. So someone's sort of twisting it there. How could you say it's genuine if it's not been tested scientifically, you know? So yeah, I posted that link down there. I don't know if there's some other better ones out there, but there was another one I come across which actually breaks down everything that was from the videos, the pictures, saying what it actually was. I was meaning to do this one a long time ago. I don't want to focus on UFO stories that turn out to be a load of rubbish. I wanted to have a look at new, fresh stuff, which MUFON puts up, which may be some interesting footage yet to see. So if you want to say anything about that particular case yourself, if you're still there.
I can't think of anything off my head.
Well, you know, this is why it's hard on live streams, because you got to sort of think and put everything together, you know, present it. But this is what we do, you know, we sort of hop around with the search tool and go from one place to another. And by the end of the night, we got 3 hours, and we're actually coming up to 3 hours of a live stream done, where you got some interesting stuff presented on it. And yeah, you never get through
But
it.
yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
one video I saw, but I can't find it. It was like, where did you hear about that video? You might have known about it. I think it happened a year ago. And it was like apparently caught on the news. The news reported on it. It's like one of the loud booming sounds. It's like the source, or exposed. And then it showed this security footage off someone's front porch, and you could see the street, and then you could see this object in the sky. And this is like on the news, but I can't find this video. But it shows like this, like it looks almost like an airplane, and then it shoots off like a shooting star. Like it's going normal, and it shoots off. And as soon as it shoots off, like a big boom happens, and it shakes all the cars and everything, and the alarms start going off. And I saw that video, and like I felt like that was like a pretty good video, but for some reason I can't find it now.
You sure it wasn't a publicity stunt? It sounds like a publicity stunt. There was a few TV. There were a few TV ads made in Germany for car manufacturers, where this UFO, like a bright sphere, overtakes the car. It's they're meant to be like filming it on iPhone or whatever, and it heads towards the tunnel, and then they capture it on the tunnel cameras. You know, they have security cameras and roadway tunnel systems, and it clips a truck or a motorbike, and it crashes. And people thought that was legit footage, but it actually was trying to do a TV ad for something. I don't know if it was a car company saying that the most robust or safe car to be in. I think it might have been something like that, but that's quite a few years old now. But something turned into a star. Does sound like some CGI special effects to me. You're saying it's from turned into a plane into a star, did you say?
Well, yeah, it just it was just it looked, yeah, it was just flying. I'm trying to remember it the best I can. It's just like it was going across the sky like real slowly, like if it was even moving at all, and then it shoots off at like like what looked like you'd see in Star Wars. It just shoots off, and yeah, it looked like it was on the news. I thought it actually had, like, I saw like the bottom right corner, like it had like everything. I forget what news company it was,
but because it's on Fox News doesn't mean it's legit. Pretty much every UFO thing they've put up has been IFO or identified, mostly either a balloon or a night vision bug or something like that, or even a hoax, you know. And the latest one is that pill-shaped balloon that's, if you look carefully, it's got a fishing line attached to it. Yeah, it's just floating around if someone zooms in on his phone. But it's just like a Milo number 0 or number A balloon that's on its side, and you can see the line hanging off it. So yeah, they do put that was up on the Fox News as well recently. Security team posted it on his Twitter account, of course.
It could have been it then. Or,
No,
I
that's a recent. That's even recent one. Like I said, you can't trust what goes up on these channels. This one here, pill shape UFO Fox News.
Okay. I had to fast forward like 30 seconds.
Yeah, they're calling it Tic Tacs here.
That 2004.
That might not be this one. That's talking about the Tic Tac, maybe. It was recent.
Trust what's on the news anymore. I mean, like I don't trust the news. I try not to, and then sometimes I see something on the news. I'm like, it was on the news, but of course they take footage that was off YouTube and then they put it on there and be like, this actually happened. And you Google it and be like, well, if this happened and 30,000 people saw this happen, then
yeah,
why is nobody talking about it except for the news?
Well, if we search in the last month, that should narrow it down a bit more. Here we go. Here it is. North Carolina man catches a pill-shaped UFO. This one here is been on Fox News. It's on UK rags, tabloids as they're called. This one here where he films it on video. Yeah, you can't see much until he zooms right in on it. But you can see here it's got a line coming down. See the fishing line? In fact, it might even be anchored to the ground. Or it might have some weight further down, but you can out of focus there. It's still out of focus. Yeah, we'll get it back into focus. Here it comes. So this is a Milo letter balloon, probably a letter A or letter O or 0. So yeah, when you've done enough video analysis of different UFO videos, you start to get a feel for it. You've seen it before, sort of thing. So that's one of these things here.
Yeah.
So
they do get repetitive. I've seen so many videos that just look copy and paste, like the same type of thing, and
I'm not sure.
It's always like really crappy quality.
So here's a still,
especially in this day of age.
Here's a still for it. That's just out of focus here, and that's what happens when you get out of focus. He's got on manual focus, I guess. And here, to me, it looks like it's a letter A on the side. Letter A balloon. You can see the fishing line coming down this way. Whether that's connected to the ground and someone's sort of like flying it like a kite, it might be, and making a fake video for it. And yeah, it's just like a letter A Milo balloon. Sort of talked about it briefly before because security team has brought it up. Letter A Milo balloon. Like one of these. These are the type of balloons you get for birthday parties. You can spell people's names and whatnot. And one of the early Tic Tac ones was a letter I, which is not that one, but it's one of the two bars, top and bottom. But you can see this one's got bars here. Oh no, that one hasn't. Happy birthday, number 1. But yeah, that'll be something like a letter A, I think, on the side. So for we haven't got any images on the side, you just have to visualize it in your head. But I think it's like something like this here on the side. It's slightly angled towards us here, so it looks like it's a dark triangle bit in the middle, which looks like a letter A. And it's got a little round bit on the end here, which some of the letter A's do have. They've got all sorts of A shapes. That's a funny shape H, that one. Yeah, but so people have these at birthday parties like this one here of a door frame. And of course, as they're sort of bringing them down, one escapes, or if they have it outside over a garden, outside birthday party, it flies off. Well, it could be a letter O like this one here, but I think because it's got a bit sticking out the end here. Oh, what's going on here? got a little round bit on the end here. But yeah, that's what we normally look at on this live thing. We sort of look at MUFON cases, come across these, and let's try and figure it out. So yeah, I was looking at this one here before that Jonathan Reed stuff popped up. And looks like we lost A51. I don't think he's here anymore, or unless he's listening in. But he did talk about some stuff here, so let's just go back and have a check. So he's seen a UFO from 500 feet away. So why didn't you come on the side chat with what's your name? Dakota? Okay. Or was it Dakota? I keep forgetting.
Dakota.
Dakota. Yeah.
But what was the question again?
Sorry? My name's Paul. Paul Skinner.
Oh, it's Paul?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Paul Skinner from Christchurch, New Zealand. And that's at the bottom of the world here. It's like the last airport that the military used to hop on down to Antarctica. So they sort of come here, land, refuel, and take their C-130s down to the ice. But yeah, at the moment here, it's nice 30 degrees Celsius, which is probably, God knows, an American temperature, because you ain't metric still. But we've been between the 26 degree days to 30 C or higher at the moment. And we get the slipstream heat from, why is it not coming up? Oh, that's right. My 3 key don't work, so I have to use the number pad. So let's see if it tells us. No. I have to put 2F probably. So it's 91.5 Fahrenheit. So yeah, it's summer at the moment over here. So yeah, A51, we need to hear your story that you're saying then. There's one recording and Ghost Adventures got it on their new season. The guy says I'm human, then this other voice came through saying not to tamper with the dimensions. I don't remember hearing that one, but it was TR3B. I've yet to see a convincing TR3B video or photograph anyway, but I'm pretty sure they do exist. Whether they're alien technology or human technology, I kind of lean towards it being US military experimental stealth technology. We sort of covered that a few lives, calling them stealth blimps, where they can be like 4 stories big, and they're like experimental like airships that I've got some obviously some powerful engines on them that makes them fly pretty fast when they want to. But often these ones have been seen like hovering slowly over the road, drifting off to Area 51. So yeah, I think it's some military experimental craft they're doing, which ain't really anti-gravity. It's just using helium and lots of it to make these big motherships that they probably could float up in the upper atmosphere and use it like a warehouse, but like what Amazon was thinking about doing. Make these floating warehouses where they have drones that go up there and robots that sort of puts the orders onto the drones and they fly back down and don't have any crew on it. I think military would be doing something similar where they could have these aircraft carriers, so to speak, which can launch these jet fighters from it. And of course, you got the range then, because the fighters only have a certain amount of fuel. So yeah, it means you could have this mothership stealth blimp over North Korea and drop 40 stealth bombers or whatever jet fighters on them, and they wouldn't stand a chance, you know. Also, they could drop bombs from this thing if it's a stealth blimp as well. from high altitude where planes can't get to, and probably rockets probably couldn't get to at the time. Mind you, the North Koreans have been experimenting with missiles quite a bit. So I think something went down, when they had that Syria crisis where they sort of launched 40 cruise missiles at this location, saying they were manufacturing chemical weapons. Then next day, North Korea suddenly is all chummy with President Trump and talking about negotiations to remove all the nuclear facilities. Something went down there. I think the Syria cruise missile tech was a false flag for the North Korean. Something went down there where they probably flew over some of their new high technology that the Americans have been working on to show him that they could take him out anytime they wanted to, maybe. And he's decided to make friends rather than be a dictator. So that's what I think anyway. But we've yet to see how it's going to pan out because it hasn't. I haven't heard much on that anymore. I don't know if you've heard any news on North Korea lately in America, but I haven't heard anything in New Zealand about what's going on.
Oh.
So
I just know that I went and visited Kim Jong-un some time ago and haven't really heard anything since.
Yeah, something went on there, and I think it's a good thing because we don't want any more wars. We've had enough of them, and they just kill people, and nothing really good comes of them in the end. Middle East is a right mess at the moment from all the wars, from invasion that happened. It was kind of stable at one point, now it's all unstable. But maybe it'll get to be stable again if they can make peace with ISIS, I guess. But yeah, we downloaded this video, so let's just have a look, see if it can play. I'll just, normally I have a break about now, and everyone can go to. So I don't know what this is about, but it's pretty loud. We'll just play it without the sound to start with. Let's see what's on there. Now it's can't see anything on there. 6-minute video. Talks about orbs. Now, at the moment, he's got the sun here, causing lens flare. And he's just talking into the camera. Looks to me like one of these balloon summoners type guys that releases a load of balloons into the air and starts filming them, claiming to be UFOs. There's a guy called Bingham that does that. He has someone that releases them a block away or whatever, and has a group of people all looking up. And some of them pay him thousands of dollars to go on these tours to spot these UFOs in the sky. So I'm not seeing anything pop up on this video. Is it still playing? Let's just play that again. He's saying. So some guy telling a UFO story or Egyptian story. I think he's just trying to get promotion to his website by using MUFON. So it looks like it's a nothing burger. I'm not seeing anything in that video at all. So this is sort of rubbish that MUFON gets quite a lot of, actually. People making hoaxes, submitting stuff from the YouTube channel. But there was absolutely no UFOs in that footage. Or even balloons, from what I could see. No. Total waste of time downloading that one. So, on to the next case, I guess. Waste of time. So, someone's posted a comment here. This video doesn't have much on it except for some nonsense news talk. Is there any actual UFO in the video? Nope, there isn't. And if so, what is the timestamp of the sighting? So, yeah, it's just another fake post in here, obviously. White objects flying around as recorded with my cell phone. So, yeah. Totally pointless. When was that submitted? Not too long ago, you know, last week, by the looks of it. Are you still with us?
I'm still here.
Right. It's because you get noise cancellation. The Discord's pretty good, so when you don't talk, it actually does cancel pretty good. So yeah, this is UFO Stalker, which is, I think it's owned by MUFON. What it links to the MUFON database and displays on a map rough locations of where the sightings are. And you can click on them and find out if there's any photograph. I don't like ones without photograph because they're not. We got no way to verify what they're seeing. So there's one, very bright illuminated fireball. Well, that doesn't sound like the triangle one, so it must be next door to it. Yeah, it is. Looks like the triangle one's got no sight in there. Very bright luminescent fireball. I think that's the one we clicked before. Just a dot in the sky, so that one doesn't sound very exciting. So that's a lot of the videos that we tend to get seem to be just lights in the sky. I think some of these we may have already looked at. I'll just have a look. So it's just a single photograph by the looks of it. And something in the middle here. Is he drawing on it? Only one photograph. So I think he's taking a picture of his yard and drawing on it to explain it by the looks of it. Let's see, so here. Retired law enforcement and have observed and reported many sightings to MUFON. Observed a very low flying bright luminescent fireball traveling at the estimated speed of 300 miles per hour and altitude of 1,500 feet. So it's good that he could be so accurate just looking at something in the sky.
That confuses me. Like, how do you know how fast it's moving?
Exactly.
Just looking at it.
Yeah, exactly. You could do it if you got it on video. You could probably estimate the number of pixels it's moved, and also how high it is. Approximation, but you couldn't say exactly. So yeah, let's just see if we can zoom in on the image here. I don't think it's a snapshot. I think it's just a doodle, which is no good to us again. It may be a legit sighting of a fireball. You know, it might be a meteorite coming down. So looks like it's a big file. Still not come down. See, that's the problem with MUFON database. It's very slow. This is like a front end to make it easier than just a text-based database. This has added some easy, quick view and a quick map. It just makes it nicer for people to use. But there was talk that they're going to get rid of access to the database, which would be a damn shame if they do, because they wouldn't be public anymore. That means they got something they can hide, which we don't want. And we can't do our own investigation on stuff either. Oh, what happened there? Oh, that's right. You have to click on it first before you save it. That's why it took so long to come down. It's downloading the whole web page. That's the problem with small writing on the screen. I can't read it because my eyes have floaters. So it looks like it's come down now. I'll delete those ones. Okay, we can zoom right into it now and see what's on here. So it looks like he's got circles with numbers on. So yep, it is a doodle. So you saw the fireball obviously come here behind the trees. Slowly coming down box of it. Yeah. Why is it not scrolling? Where's my mouse gone? What's happened? Here it is. Something going on here. One of my mouse batteries getting flat. So yeah, it looks like it's coming down in an arc. Heading towards him a bit there. So yeah, I don't know. Was there anything on the news about fireball coming down that day? Or could it have been a Chinese lantern? What day was it sighted? Where's the page? So when was it sighted? Midnight. So it's at night time. So it could easily be a Chinese lantern coming down. Very bright luminescent fireball moving rapidly faster than known aircraft. Well, that sort of rules out Chinese lantern though. Altitude changing direction and a high speed coordinate and turned, resembling a military aerial demonstration, then disappearing over a period of approximately 5 seconds. Disappearing. So on his diagram, he doesn't say disappeared, but gets to there and then disappears. Don't know. So unfortunately, we got no video footage, which sounds like it would have been a more interesting case if we could see video of it. 5 seconds. Disappearing over a period of 5 seconds. But have you ever seen a fireball come down? Or I have, while walking the dog. They don't last a few seconds. So it sounds almost like something that was moving fast across the sky and then simply just burnt up. Yeah, I've seen it in New Zealand, and it's sort of red and orange and also white. But clearly it's a meteorite or something like fragment coming down, or space junk. So yeah, this, unless we got other people that saw this, MUFON will probably have a fun time with that one. Probably be classed as unknown, because but normally what we'd do, we'd plug that into Plane Finder and see if there's any planes in the sky at that time. Sounds like he reckons it's 1,500 feet high. So you'd have to convert that from my time to New York time, which is fun. So that'd probably be 13 hours back. So that'd probably be the 12th of February for me. And plug it into Planefinder, we could see if there's any planes up there at that time. But if he was a military person or a police officer, he should know about the various apps you can put on your smartphone, which can help you out quickly after the fact. You can hold it up to the sky and say, was there any planes that were like an hour each way of the sighting? Or you can hold it up at the time of the sighting and see if it says there's a plane flying across that you see in the plane lights. There's also Heavens Above, which will tell you whether any events are happening, like meteorite showers or Venus. So here we would find on Planefinder the location first of all, and then use the playback function and get the right date and time. So New York's going to be over this way. And that pumps up the CPU a bit because there's a lot of graphics. So at the moment we're seeing some planes coming in. New York, North Carolina. Where is New York? Further up, isn't it? New Jersey, New York. So somewhere there. What was the exact location? Hamilton. Oh, New York. New Jersey is what I'm meant to be looking at. But yeah, I guess it's in the same location. We just looked at that, didn't we? New Jersey, where was that again? There it is, New Jersey. Hamilton, was it? Which is a shame. How many people are watching? I think 2 watching is wrong. Surely. Okay, here we go. Are you still there?
Here, my internet is acting up, so
Right, that might.
If you're having any
that might explain it then. Google's not always seeing you. So there's Trenton, Philadelphia, New York, New Jersey. So it's in between. So we're looking for this just above Philadelphia, which is here, Trenton. Where's my mouse gone? Yeah, I'll break up, or you hear my voice break up occasionally as well. Here it is here. So we're looking for a plane over this location here. There we go. Littleton I saw on the map. So that's probably where we want to go. So now we have to work out the time zones. So midnight. Seems a bit strange to have it dead on midnight though, doesn't it? You know, I'm always a bit suspect when people say midnight, so it doesn't really mean that they actually know what time it was. So yeah, time in New York. So how far behind is New York to New Zealand? Because this plane finder uses my UTC time of New Zealand, so I have to work it out. New York time zone, UTC to New Zealand. If you're doing it in Yorkshire, you have to do New York time zone to whereabouts did you say you was? Time zone. UTC stands for Universal Time Clock. Which is a bit different than GMT time and Eastern time and PST time. So New York is negative 5 hours. Is that what it's saying? So -5 time zone calculator. Yes, so we've got to make sure we got it right. So it doesn't mean instead of midnight, it's going to be, let's see, 8 p.m., is it? No, 7 p.m. my time the following day. So yeah, local time. What is the date today? Yeah. Where's the clock? 17th. So why is it coming up Friday the 14th there? New York UTC time to New Zealand. Actually, just click on that one. So it always spins my head around when I try and work out time zones. Oh, here we go. It's got the correct times here. So at the moment it's 4:36 a.m. and it's now 10:36 p.m. Sunday for me. So what's that work out? 13 hours plus some. So it's not -5, so it's got to be 18 hours, isn't it? I think we done this one last time. Let's see, 12 hours back makes it 10 a.m. Sunday. Plus we've got to subtract 4 hours off. No, it's 10. Got to subtract 4 hours off. So it's 16 hours. 16 hours difference. No. 18 hours difference. 12 plus -6. Yeah, 18 hours. So it's 18 hours difference. So midnight will be, we've got a -18 hours of it. So to get it to, oh, hang on. Yep, 18. So what's that work out? Midnight to lunchtime to lunchtime plus minus 6. 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. on the following day. 6 a.m. That sounds about right, doesn't it? Yeah, I think so. So plane finder, we can now put it in on this playback function. And it was February the 12th at 6 a.m. But we really want to go back a wee bit. So we'll probably say 45.5 and play. Let's see what we got. Any planes in the sky? Why is it taking so long? Here we go. Oop, got one flying past. What's that time? It's 5:45 in the morning, which would be 5:45 midnight over there in New York. So we're like a day ahead of most people. So what type of plane is that? Simming past here. We click on it. It'll give us some information. Why is it not showing? Oh, it's just going slow. So it's a 2-engine plane. Now, because we got no picture or video, we don't know if it's going to be a plane or not. So that one's zooming past. So here comes another one right overhead. So the time hasn't progressed. So it's all happened in 5 minutes. So it's kind of busy there. So he's seeing the UFO here somewhere in the middle. Okay, it's loaded some more. Some slower moving planes coming over. A little tiny one here. Why is it not letting me select it? There we go. No image. What time was that? So that's 10 to 6 or 10 to midnight their time. And looks like it does a big loop around the area here. And looks like the dotted line is where it loses communication with the plane's call ID. But yeah, looks like a small plane, probably a training plane. They move quite quick, of course, and the low altitude. What's that one say? Have we got any information? Unknown. So that's pretty low down. That's 3,700 feet. It will have a red light on the front as well as a 2 white lights. So we'll have a red light and a green light on the tail fins. So let's see where it goes. Should go around in a big loop, by the looks of it. head right over them. The database has definitely got a lot slower. So the plane's not following the path, but it's flying out this way. So since I've updated it, it's not been very accurate. So it's now over here, and it's getting the next 5 minutes. Lost coverage. Hey. And that's at 6 o'clock on the dot. So it's lost coverage, and it was over here. So could he have been seeing that low flying plane? That's very possible. So that's how we use that tool anyway. It'll probably pop up again if we keep on playing it. But we knew the plane was going to lost signal around about here because it had a dotted line. But as you see, the program's got a few bugs in it where the flight path is not correct. Summation flight path, not the actual flight path. But I haven't seen it pop up again, so it must have landed. Must be like an airport, a little airport here. But yeah, certainly a lot of traffic, little planes flying overhead. Here's another one. And that one hasn't got a flight path. That's flying New York to Fort Myers. So the only one that fit that was that little plane that sort of lost a signal, so we couldn't actually track where it went to. But yeah, that one's probably, I don't know why it would be like a fireball, but I suppose it could if it's bright enough in the sky. And if it turned, like it was turning all over the place there, would turn away from him and head the opposite direction, he wouldn't. It would seem like it's disappeared, or maybe it landed. There's that photograph again. That's a bug. Sometimes it doesn't load it properly. So yeah, it looks like it's getting lower and lower here. And it does seem to have that flight path that plane was doing. So it's a good possibility that it was a plane. But he reckons it was moving too fast to be a plane, so I don't know. But yeah, 3.5 hours. So just wonder if I should wrap it up. Are you still there? Or is anyone still with us? We've got 3, I reckons, watching.
Still here.
Are you still here? So yeah, it's better if you're on video, and then you don't have to watch YouTube slightly behind, which is kind of annoying. But we could have a look for some other ones. We'll see if there's anything else that's interesting.
I found that video I was talking about, but I mean, we don't have to watch it if you don't want to, but I did find that video.
Did you? I'll post it in Discord. Yeah.
Oh, you want me to post? Okay.
Yep, just post it in the general chat. Just post it there. Oh, you can't post it on the site because you don't have moderator, and only mods can post links in the side chat on YouTube. But on Discord you can do it. Discord is like our research offline group before and between streams. So okay, what is it? Oh, is this someone with the meteorites? I think I debunked this one, didn't I? Copy link. I'll have a look instead of look at another MUFON case. We'll leave this as the last one anyway. We'll come back to MUFON cases Wednesday my time, because I normally have a wee bit of a gap in between Sunday tonight. So Wednesday will be my next one, which will be Tuesday. but you probably won't be up because it'll be late at night probably. I do Wednesdays at 9 p.m, which will be probably like midnight in California. So on Tuesday, I'll just close that down here, and I'll paste the link. Lions Ground. Well, it's going to take the dog out in 15 minutes. Okay. Looks like the dog will have to miss out on his walk. Everyone's going to bed. Yeah, Lions Ground. Has he got the original source to it? That's, hang on, we'll just have a look. According to tweets, this happened on 9th of June. Is that the one? We'll just open that one up.
It should be that one.
Oh. Is it on Facebook? Is it? It's not on that one. So it made a boom noise. I think it sounds like a comet, doesn't it? Is there actually a video? This one here, is it? It's on NBC. He's got NBC here. Well, we can play the NBC clip. I think I remember it. Let's have a look. I'll turn off closed captions. Mystery in the Sky. I think I covered this in live stream around about 40, going way back. What date was that? Yeah, last year, way back. So what did Lions Ground say it was? A meteorite?
I didn't get a chance to watch the Lions Ground version, but I have seen the video. I was thinking maybe you were going to watch it or something, but I don't know what Lions Ground said about it. I just saw that he covered it.
It does look like a meteorite, a fireball that's exploding.
Okay.
But I don't see airplane. You were talking about an was an airplane shape you said?
Yeah.
I don't see.
But I know this is the video. I remember, but it's not like an airplane. I just remembered it was like moving slowly or doing something, and then like it like blasted off, and I remember that.
Well, this one's just a quick boom and a flash, which is typical of meteorites coming down and just simply vaporizing. Yeah, look, you can see you can see a bit of debris come down here too. You can see that? See that little bit drop down? It's a couple of pixels, but when it explodes, you can see some debris come down. If that's a meteorite, if you can find that fragment, it can be worth quite a bit of money. It could be worth thousands of dollars. So yeah. Yeah, he's pointed it out here. You can see a little bit of debris falling down. Yeah, see, look, it's very faint, but it's there. What you can do normally, that's not the video though that you're talking about. You're talking about another one where it's going left to right, is it? I think I know the one you're talking about. Is it left to right and it's like a comet coming down? Or maybe it's right to left. Right to left. It comes right to left.
Yeah, right to left.
Yeah. You're pretty sure it's this one? June. So what you can do is you normally can put in June. See if there's any typical meteorite showers happen on those particular month numbers. June meteorite showers. Remember, it was left over from comets. As comets orbit Earth, bits break off and creates these meteorite showers. That's what causes it. They don't fly inside the moon, but they normally fly on the outskirts, around the sun, around the Earth, and bits break off, and then those showers head towards, due to gravitational pull, towards the Earth, and that's what you see in the flashes. So June meteorite showers for 2018, was it? Yeah, I think it was. And here you go. Smack in mid-June. Probably have to open that one up. Are there any meteorite showers in June? So there you go. The Perseids, I suppose that's how you say that. The most common popular meteorite shower as they peak on warm August nights as seen from the northern hemisphere. Activity between July the 17th to August the 24th. So that's pretty big range there. They reach a strong maximum on 12th of August and 13th. So that's when most of them happen. When did this one happen? I think it was the 9th, was it? 9th of June. So there you go. It fits that time of the meteorite shower that is expected. Now, a meteorite shower could be one or two now on occasion. It causes a boom sound or just a flash. And sometimes it can be like a whole 10 of them suddenly coming down at once. And as you know, I was looking at that meteorite shower thing, detection program. There's another one you can use. Whether they keep an archive record, I don't know. But you can do meteorite detector. There's various sites out there. Life map. Some are better than others. And as you can see, we've got a few hits already coming up. Meteorite Watch. Let's have a look at that one. That's very slow. All my live stream's taken up. No results. Well, that's no good. That one's no good. There was another one here. Live real time and where is it gone? Real time satellite tracking. No, we don't want that. We want meteorites. Livemeteorites.com. Listen live to meteorites. Radio echoes. Okay, just try that one. Well, that one loaded pretty quick. So this is the one I looked at months ago and talked about it, and I'm not sure if you can hear that or not. It should be playing on YouTube, but it sounds like I don't know, like a space invader game where you get little echoes, like a submarine game, you know, underwater. You hear a beep every so often. There you go, beep, and that's a meteorite entering the atmosphere. So that's in real time at the moment. 5 a.m. 17th of February. So you can see a lot of meteorites do come down of various sizes.
Interesting.
I'll post a link to it so you can have a play around with it. I think they upload archive versions occasionally onto YouTube. Yeah, it's got YouTube here. That's pretty cool. You can check out if it's a meteorite sighting that you're seeing on it. Probably in America. I'm not sure if it's only used to us in the southern hemisphere, but certainly in the north part of up atmosphere of America, probably. No doubt there's some South Island ones. I mean, South Hemisphere ones. Yeah, so you can see there's a lot of meteorites just coming into the atmosphere all the time. So they talk about false positives on this site, and sometimes it can be airplanes, but the software they use is meant to eliminate it, so it doesn't show it up. But it doesn't mean it's like 100% accurate. Oh, there's a big one. There's a long beep sound. That's a fairly big one coming in.
That's it.
And I guess, what's the timeline say up there? So there's another big one coming in. It's 555 meters, 55, 240 meters, I guess that's what it means. And altitude, I guess. So what's the thing up here mean? We need like a little label on the side. Degrees elevation, maybe. Negative 45. So it's coming down. Negative 35 degrees, maybe. At 55,000 meters. So how many feet is that? 2 feet. So it's quite a while up there. It's 181,000 feet up. That's what it's telling us. Which is the edge of space, I guess. Or the stratosphere, is it? Let's see. Let's find out. What is 180,000 feet atmosphere? So this layer extends from the top of the stratosphere at roughly 12 kilometers, which is 39,000 feet. So that's roughly as high as planes maximum will go, or passenger jets. Above the Earth's surface to the stratosphere at altitude of 50 to 55 kilometers, which is right, at 180,000 feet. The atmosphere pressure at the top of the stratosphere is roughly 1/1,000 the pressure at sea level. And it's got a little diagram here. Might give us an idea. I should pause that. But yeah. There you go. Yeah. Pause. So, yeah, I don't know if I can see that one. Metasphere. I wonder if we got another one that we can look at. Oh, here we are, stratosphere. That one looks quite clear. So 10 kilometers, so 55 kilometers here, stratosphere down to the troposphere, 10 kilometers. So what's the edge of space again? I think it's 100 kilometers, so it's got to be, what was it saying there? Thermosphere, is it? What's space orbit? What is space orbit? I think I looked it up last time, but I keep forgetting. So here we go. What height? Space orbit height. Okay, here we go. So yeah, it's pretty low down then. Leo's orbits at altitude when it's weightless, really. Uh, 2 kilometers, yeah, 2,000 kilometers rings a bell. Geostationary. And maybe we need to put weightless in. They won't tell us. So, space station at a height of 200 miles. So it's double what we had there for the metasphere, whatever it's called. What height does gravity stop? Well, it doesn't stop, it just gets weaker. How high do you have to go to escape gravity? Well, you don't really escape it. So, edge of space is 100 kilometers above the Earth. So that's what they're calling between Earth's atmosphere and outer space, Kármán line. So what's that? So I thought it was 100 kilometers. So it's traveled another 55 kilometers from edge of space before it gets detected by that live map here. Suppose because the radio frequencies only have so much energy, they're only up a certain height before they bounce back off something. So what's this Kármán line, or whatever it's called? Kármán line. What's it say? 100 kilometers, 10,000 kilometers. Exosphere, thermosphere, 600 kilometers from 100 kilometers. So that's a fairly big chunk. And then we got this meteorites, 85 kilometers, metasphere. Although this software is only picking them up in the stratosphere, where weather balloons go to. Okay, that's pretty good chart. And troposphere. So I might just bookmark that one. The altitude of 100 kilometers or 62 miles 330,000 feet above Earth sea level. So that's what they call an edge of space then. So there you go. So we figured it out. Oh, we got 4 watching. What happened? And look, there's some equations here if you're into maths. What's that say?
I'm trying to understand that. Lift force, P is the air density, V is aircraft speed relative to the air, S is the aircraft's wing area, CL is the lift coefficient.
The amount of lift provided, which must equal the vehicle's weight in order to maintain level flight, is calculated by the lift equation. So no doubt that'd be an exam that you take if you want to be a pilot, I guess. But air density, where would you get that from? I suppose you'd have to take it from a reading off the panel of the aircraft. Unless the control tower would know, but surely air density would change with height, because as you're going up higher, the air's getting less dense because there's less gas particles up that high. Aircraft speed, aircraft wing area. So yeah, I guess that would have to be in a technical manual. So is that talking about both wings or one wing? There's another question. It doesn't sort of make it clear there. S got squared. I guess that would be total wing area, I suppose they mean there. And lift coefficient, which I don't know. We'd have to click on that and find out. Lift coefficient is a dimensionless coefficient that relates to the lift generated by lifting body to the fluid density around the body. The fluid velocity and associated reference area. Lifted body is a full or complex full bearing body, such as a fixed wing aircraft. Is a function of angle of the body to the flow. Yeah, so yeah, gets in deep there. And it gets even worse. L over QS equals that.
It breaks it down for you.
Maths is not really my forte, so to speak. But yeah, what's that got? Coefficient of lift to angle of attack. So there's quite a lot to airfoils and stuff, and air pressure. So yeah, I'll post that link there anyway to this other one. It's got a good little chart here. So that's the space shuttle that's flying at probably 600 kilometers above. Aurora is at the edge of space, which makes sense. And aircraft up to 20 kilometers. So that must be what, 38,000 feet maximum, Mount Everest. But they haven't got the space station on here, have they? Space station, they said, was 300 kilometers, so that's got to be down here, I guess, halfway. I'll just post that link. Edge of space, because I always keep going back to it because we keep forgetting. I keep thinking it's 100, and it is according to that. It's like I'm the only one doing stuff in the side chat. We've got people watching. Yeah.
Be me using 3 different things. I'm using 3 different devices to watch this. Actually, my phone is dead, so.
Oh, right. Well, I'm probably going to wrap up now. We're coming up to 4 hours, and I think I've done pretty good by myself here and with you. Hopefully we'll get the regulars on as well. Who else? Has anyone joined us in Discord at all? Haven't heard any beeps. Let's see. No, none of these. But we've had a couple of new sign-ups. AS51. He got bored with us, I think, and took off. Obviously late at night, but maybe he'll come back on Friday when I do 1 p.m. and he can tell us about his TR3B sighting, hopefully. So yeah, thanks for joining us, and I'll just drop off Discord now and say goodnight.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem. See you later, mate. And I'm just going to wrap up here and close down with my end credits. And thanks for liking and sharing. And I'll see you Tuesday if you're in America at midnight. Wednesday's my late night ones for America. Or it'll be probably 9 a.m. UK time. And it'll be 9 p.m. New Zealand time. So I'm going to roll it back.